Hey, don't make me play myself. You're fun and
I need an alien to twerk for me. I need an alien to work for me. I need an alien to twerk for me. Yeah. I need an alien on Coinbase. I need an alien to trade for me. I need an alien to trade for me. Make gains, no trades for me. I need an alien to trade for me. AI girlfriend, that's the way for me. I need an alien to twerk for me. Proboscis, lip pucker, aliens on Tucker. I need an alien to work for me. I need an alien to twerk for me. Need an alien to work for me. Need an alien to work for me. Need an alien. Need an alien to twerk for me. Alien girlfriend on Coinbase. Make the trades, get base. Get the third base with an alien. Lonely house man, need an alien in the basement. Need an alien to work for me. Need an alien to twerk for me.
The engine is starting up.
Mormon space lives. Let's create lives. Mormon space lives. God the Father has a body. It's a very tone body. He looks good. He looks good. Mormon space lives. Mormon space lives. Magic underwear fitting tight. Magic underwear is feeling right. Space wives. Mormon space wives. Mormon space wives. Lord's Cola.
I would like to have intimacy with you
On the planet of Naboo. Mormon
Let's create life.
Mormon space lives. God the Father has a body. It's a very tone body.
He looks good. He looks good. He looks good. He looks good. Good, 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 good. Space. Sex. Space. Sex.
Space. Mormon space lives. Mormon space lives. Space error. Mormon space lives. Mormon space lives.
Let's create space. Sex. Space.
Mormon space wives. Let's create new lives. Mormon space wives. Our God has a body. It's a very tone body. He looks good. Mormon space wives. Mormon space wives. From the space sex. Space sex. Space sex. Magic underwear, fitting tight. Magic underwear feels so right. Mormon space wives. Lords of Cola. Let me have intimacy with you on the planet of Naboo. Magic underwear fits so tight. Magic underwear feels so right. Mormon space wives. Mormon space wives. Creating new lives. Mormon space wives. Mormon space I'm almost having too much fun already. We haven't even started, dude. Ain't even started yet. I want to sing this one. We ain't even sang to this one yet. Let's sing to this one. Get the choo-choo going. Choo-choo.
Mormon space lives. Let's create lives. Mormon space lives. God the Father has a body. It's a very tone body.
He looks good. He looks good.
Mormon space lives. Mormon space lives. Basement, basement, basement. I would like to have intimacies with you. Basement, basement, basement. Magic underwear fitting tight. Magic underwear is feeling right.
Space wise.
Mormon space wise. Mormon space wise. Lord Cola.
I would like to have
Intimacy with you on the planet of Naboo. Magic underwear. Where? Right there. Mormon space lives.
let's create
Mormon space lives. I would like to have a body intimacies with you. It's a very tone body.
He looks good. He looks good. He looks good. He looks good. Good, 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 good. Space. Sex. Space. Sex.
Space. Space. Woo! Mormon space lives. Mormon space lives. Space error.
I thought the blue tongue with the methylene blue would be perfect for Alien Day.
Mormon space lives.
Mormon space wise.
Mormon space lives.
Let's create
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
space. Sex. Space.
Damn, I was busting moves. I'm already sweating. Woo! Just bust a move. Guys, remember, we have been on top of the alien nonsense since the early days. Long ass time ago. Look, see this book right here? 2016, dude. 2016. And guess what? We had a whole 60 pages early on in the book. Early on in the book. What was the whole, this is a whole section, not a chapter, like a section of like 5 chapters. H.G. Wells, science fiction propaganda, and Spielberg's mythos, the alien space brothers.
Alien space brothers. Yo, check it out. It's the alien space brother.
And then in part 2, only a couple years later, look at that. 2018, guess what? A whole section on alien space brothers, warning you of the psyop that was coming. Let me find that chapter right here. Look at this. Faking aliens. Who was telling you a long ass time ago? Me. I was. Well, shit, where's it at, dude? Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. No, that's not aliens. Dystopias. I think it's after. Yeah, here we go. Alien engineering psyops.
So we've been on top of this day one, dude. Jamie, could you turn the AC on a little bit more? I'm in here just dripping, dude. I'm just floating over here. I'm floating. I busted too many moves. The audience is, I have to go to confession. I tempted the audience with lust, with all of that just dank moves I had. Them moves were pimp as hell, dude. Just a little update on new books at the Jay's Analysis Info headquarters. We got some new sweet looking books over here. I had to get this one after all the recent conversations. Jacob Nutter. If you're going to write a book exposing conspiracy stuff, probably better idea to use a pseudonym if your name is Nutter, even if you're a PhD, because it just sounds like it's going to immediately discredit, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to disqualify, you know what I'm saying? You got a name like that, you got to be like Winona Ryder taking a new name. You know what I mean? Her name is something like Winona Schnitzelstein or something crazy. Time to get a new name, dude. And then we got this originally published in French that goes into quite a bit of depth about espionage, intelligence, and your friends over there under Leo, Vatican spies. This is a French kind of journalistic academic text. It was mainline French publication, so it's not a conspiracy text. It was published and then reviewed by former intelligence heads, reviewed by top magazines like Le Monde, different French publications, going into a lot of the history between the CIA, the Vatican, more of Gladio. Because you guys got to remember, we're many years past Gladio now, and new stuff, new information emerges. So then Paul Williams, somebody recommended this one in the chat. We've already covered 2 or 3 Paul Williams books so far. 2.5. We did his Al-Qaeda book. Of course, he was FBI consultant for many years on organized crime and terror. We covered his book on Gladio. And then we covered some of his book on the Vatican Bank. And then a few years ago, I didn't even know he wrote this, he did a book critiquing the theology and the geopolitics of the Vatican in all of these relations intertwining in his book Among the Ruins. And so I already skimmed a few chapters of that one. It looks like it's going to be based. And then there's a more it's a journalist, but it's a little more conspiratorial. And so there's mixed reviews. We're going to see what we think of this one. This one's called The Entity, and this is 5 centuries of Vatican espionage, arguing that several centuries back, the papacy set up its own in-house native official intelligence operation known as The Entity. The claim is somewhat controversial. However, why would it be? Of course they would. I mean, duh. They're a political city-state. They had the papal states. Why would they not, like every other geopolitical entity, have an intelligence espionage operation? I mean, they got a dang global bank, dude. Why wouldn't they? And then I did finally get a copy of Michael Garton's book, Early Icons. Christian image veneration before Nicaea. So pre-Nicene examples of image veneration refuting the iconoclast. These are all going to be fun to do. Guys, if you would hit like and share, remember you can support the stream through Super Chats. Super Chats are done natively through YouTube or through Streamlabs. There's the link right here. Help me to hit the goal today to make it worth it. Thank you guys already being generous in the chat. Appreciate you guys. You guys enjoy the music, the infotainment. We love it too. That's what we do around here. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
This is how we do it, brother. This is how we do it, brother. This is how we do it, brother.
It's that booger whistle. Let's see.
Marks and traits of the cult guru. They do not typically like you doing well.
Now the booger whistle guru song don't exactly fit, but it kind of does, because as we're gonna see today, the gods are the aliens when they're not faking gay and when they're faking gay. The ancient aliens, all that propaganda that we have from the History Channel for the last 30 years or more, maybe going back to even the 90s, right? Ancient aliens. And then you had George Tsoukalos with that Greek afro, a Greek fro. Who even heard of that? Over there talking about aliens and all of this.
What? They are persecuting me. They do not have spiritual eyes to see. Therefore, they must take down what they do not understand.
That's that booger whistle, baby.
They're energy vampires.
That's that booger whistle, baby.
I got a booger whistle flute. They're energy vampires.
That's that booger whistle, baby. Oftentimes, the communal living that the guru demands doesn't match up to the guru who's driving around in a freaking Rolls Royce.
What?
How many swamis got a dang Rolls Royce?
What?
I had vision last night. The ascended masters came down to me. They says, Swami, you are to get Rolls Royce.
That's that booger whistle, baby.
Their energy.
That's my favorite part, when that Indian chick goes. That's the best part of the whole song right there. All right, enough of this nonsense. Enough of this nonsense. What you doing all that nonsense for? Listen, we got all kinds of crazy stuff I want to talk about today. But I think first and foremost, last thing, the other book I got. Thank you to Pano. Shout out to our boy Pano. He recommended this classic here, and I've already skimmed a couple chapters, read a couple chapters, made some notes on the schism. Saint Nectarios. Didn't even know he had a whole book refuting papism post-schism until Pano recommended it. So this is a cool one here. Saint Nectarios has a whole refutation of it. And the thing about his book is I noticed it's a lot of going into the councils, the minutes, the statements, the history. I mean, there is theological argumentation, about Peter, Matthew 16, all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of history in that book. So it's almost a little more of a church history book than it is like an apologetic. I mean, it is an apologetic, but it's an apologetic from history, more so even than theology per se. Okay. I thought what we would do today is I got a bunch of notes. We're going to go through stuff here because the UFO alien nonsense psyop disinfo distraction just went live, bro. They just went full. They just went live. They just went full boomer slop right now, right? And we got right here in the files. We got Sam Hyde over here exposed in the files. We all knew this was the case. I mean, it's just, when it happened, this is like the Epstein files, except Epstein files are real. This is all fake and gay. So let's start with, Trump says today, we got war.gov/UFO. Everybody last night thought it was aliens.gov, which I guess was a different website, something somebody else made. But regardless, it doesn't matter because it's still the same. Trump says today, let me get me out of the way here. As for my promise to you, the Department of War has released the first tranche of the UAP files to the public for the review and study. Completely. Maximum in transparency. Probably the best transparency we've ever done. Probably it's to my honor. It was my honor, basically my decision. Unidentified aerial phenomena
The people can decide what the hell is going on. Probably you believe in aliens. Don't know if I do, but probably you do.
So here's Trump's kicked it off. All right. And then we got everybody basically saying who's half IQ above boomer age. Boomers have hit the stage where their age is their IQ. So everybody else is like, bro, this is fake and gay. Anything to stop talking about Epstein files, anything to get away from the unpopular war. And this is what we're getting. Okay, this kind of bullshit.
By Jeremy.
The same bullshit that the History Channel was playing in 2000 about aliens. They just took old History Channel nonsense clips. I mean, dude, what the hell even is that? A damn snowflake? People are saying it's an ophanim. What the hell are you talking about? An ophanim. Now, I will give Anna Paulina Luna credit because she did stand up for the Orthodox Church in Ukraine. So shout out to Father Whiteford's daughter for setting all that up. But what the hell are you talking about? This is an ophanim. This is just a blurry bunch of nonsense. Nobody even knows what that is. Look how stupid this is. And then look, here's what the other thing we get. Crap in the background, supposedly from the moon missions. Giant bronze ellipsoid emerges in a bright flash, and then it disappeared. Come on, dude. Nobody thinks that's real. So the actual files just contain literal AI bullshit? Actually, yes, they do. And I mean, RT should be calling this stuff out. They should be doing better than this. All right, let's see. We got some more alien nonsense here. Where's all the alien stuff? I thought that's everything. That's the only thing that matters right now, right? Okay, we got this one. Mick West. Who the hell is Mick West? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to do some repenting. Scam Shamu vindicated. Uh-oh. Oh, look at this, dude. Sam Shamoon is correct all along. White House UFO files. Super hot orb. Does that mean sexy? Like super hot? Like, damn, boy, that orb looking good. Yo, girl, turn around. Let me see them orbs. Right? I feel like Project Pat over here. Great googly moogly, them orbs is juicy. Good googly moogly, them orbs is juicy. Good googly moogly, them orbs is juicy. Damn, girl, turn around. Let me see them hot orbs. That's not me. That's how it's described on the White House page. Talking about hot aliens. Woo! I need an alien to twerk for me. I need an alien to work for me. Uh-huh. Where's Sam Shamoon at? It says senior U.S. intel officials. Military craft. This orb was hot as hell. Yo, this an orb about a 9 on the hot scale. That's a fly bitty. Hot as hell. Got just juicy orbs. Good googly moogly. Great googly moogly. Look at them orbs, girl. Damn. Blah, blah, blah. Blacked out. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me, I want to see the part where she looking good, dude. Let's see the orbs on this chick, bro. Let's see them orbs. All right, just still a bunch of nonsense. That's not even worth covering, dude. Okay, here's another one. Bright dot. Whoa. Okay, well that could be a drone just sped up. right? 80 miles an hour. Yeah, maybe. I do think they have advanced drone technology. They probably have some kind of, levitation tech or free energy technology or something like that. That's probably what a lot of this stuff is. And so declassifying this right now, I mean, when we've had, so the 1950s, 47 till 2027, we'll say. What is that? 60 years of UFO bullcrap, dude. 60 years of UFO bullcrap, and what they declassify is filmed on Betamax in 1982. Are you serious? Now, a lot of people were asking me about this Joe Rogan interview with Congress. No, who is this? Burchard? Representative Burchett, excuse me. I have not heard this, so let's see what's going on here. And Jimmy Carter supposedly cried when he was briefed on UFO. He cried. How am I going to have a peanut farm? I won't have a peanut farm anymore if there's aliens. The aliens are going to come and take all the peanuts of the peanut farm.
Half of what we should get.
But you think we're going to get something?
I think we'll get something.
Do you know Hal Puthoff? Do you know Hal Puthoff?
Do what?
Do you know Hal Puthoff?
No, I
Do you know
don't.
who he is?
Yes, this is all part of the Andrea Puharich Council of Nine Circle. Gene Roddenberry is part of that. That's channeling the nine, a whole bunch of nonsense. They're all connected to people running the remote viewing Stanford Research Project.
I thought you were how put off you are right
No.
now. I was like, how put off are
Hal
you?
Puthoff was in the documentary as well. He was in Age of Disclosure, and
Okay.
he was a guest on the podcast. And one of the things that he told me is that during the Bush administration, they brought in him and a bunch of other scientists and thought leaders, and what was explained to him was that they are considering disclosure and that there have been visits of these super intelligent beings from somewhere else, that we have retrieved crashed vehicles, and that we have
Again, no evidence at all for any of that. This narrative has existed since the late 1940s, put out by a bunch of people involved in psychological warfare and disinformation. First example being MJ-12, the Majestic 12. So let's remind you guys first what that is. I'll tell you my theory on that. Is a purported committee of scientists, military, government officials, 1947. Now, this is why I always go back to this as the root of this. Keep in mind, too, this is the beginning of the CIA, right? The OSS begins in 1942. It's officially reconstituted as the CIA in 1947, the exact same year at the beginning of the MJ-12 UFO alien bullcrap. So all of it goes back to this, right? Project Blue Book, not Blue Beam, Blue Book. This was formed by Harry Truman to investigate the so-called UFO Foo Fighter alien stuff. Very popular in conspiracy theory circles. The FBI, many researchers consider documenting the detail also to include many hoaxes, right? And remember, we'll talk again about the classic people involved in this, Betty and Barney Hill, George Adamski, right? Betty and Barney Hill are some of the first descriptors of the alien encounters. George Adamski is the first to have the alien abduction, close encounters of the fourth kind type story. In both of those cases, the people are involved in weird occultic stuff, and they're known fraudsters, and they're, in some cases with Adamski, they're protected by Alan Dulles. Why would Alan Dulles give a shit about some rando retard? Well, he's the first abductee, so he's very important for this plan. This original group included Admiral Roscoe Hillenkotter, James Forrestal, the Navy guy, and I think he was connected to Gladio, and I think he was also unalived. He's the Navy admiral that was working to create the alliances with the Sicilian mafia for Gladio, and I think he ended up unalived. Vannevar Bush. The agencies declared later on that these documents were forgeries. Now, my thesis here is the MJ-12 stuff was a forgery, but it was a forgery intended to create the alien narrative. So when other agencies like the FBI, which might not have been hip to what was really going on, right? The information is compartmentalized. When they look into this, they're like, hey, this is a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of forgeries, a bunch of just made up claims. And that thesis makes perfect sense, right? Especially given, fast forward to now, Jimmy Carter, CFR member, Bilderberg, chosen presidential candidate, handled by Brzezinski and Kissinger. I'm supposed to believe it's a big. I mean, basically the Carter is a mouthpiece of the Rockefellers, Kissinger, and Brzezinski, and I'm supposed to believe that Jimmy Carter wanted to declassify this, but he was weeping about his peanut farms. Give me a break, dude.
Biological remains.
That's correct.
And we are talking about disclosing. We would like you to make a list of all the ways that it'll negatively affect society and all the ways that it'll positively affect society, and attach a numerical value to these things. And they all did it, and every one of them said the negatives far outweigh the positives in terms of the impact on government, the impact on the economy, religion, all these different factors.
Now, again, that's correct, but of course they're not doing this or saying this because they want to help anybody or they care about the truth, as if it's, the government is actually Fox Mulder and they want to, the truth at all costs. The truth is out there. We got to get it out. Get the word out. We got to get the word out. Reminding you guys, according to the academic Dr. Brenda Densler in her book on UFO cults in social engineering, she points to a 1960 Brookings Institute document commissioned by NASA. Brookings Institute is one of the top think tanks in the world, up there with Rand Corporation, up there with Carnegie, Ford, etc. One of these top, the real power structure, not the local elected officials, the real power structure. And they note that the chief utility of ET life being announced will be dislodging the previous Christian paradigm and worldview. And Satanist Arthur C. Clarke is right there as part of this this study. And of course, Arthur C. Clarke was also a noted PDF and a creep, and hung out with Aleister Crowley. And remember, Crowley is going to be also, again, very crucial to this story of aliens. It's not just these government goobers and these military psyops people. There's also people, especially in military and psyops, they study what's called Weltanschauungskrieg. Weltanschauungskrieg. That's the German term for worldview warfare. So you hear us talking about worldviews and paradigms, and then dum-dums on the internet think that that's all made up and we don't know what we're talking about, even though the Pentagon, the military historians literally study worldviews and paradigms for Psy-War. It's in the actual academic and espionage papers. Now, MJ-12 is often considered a myth, but it ended up being debunked. But what came out of it being debunked was the whole alien mythos. Now, here we are over here at the National Archives. So let's see what the National Archives say. Let's talk about Blue Book. Project Blue Book related to the investigations of flying objects, and it was officially closed in 1969. They received numerous inquiries concerning the MJ-12, and they made extensive research, and supposedly they're going to, via the National Security Council, by the way, that's like the top of the intelligence stuff, right? NSC is what's above all the intelligence agencies, basically. So that's literally at the top, intel-wise. And it talks about Blue Book here. It says, it excludes the names of the people involved, but there are 37 cubic feet of files. So if you really wanted to investigate this, you'd have to go sit and read a bunch of bullshit at some archive somewhere. 1 cubic foot has about 2,000 pages. So you could spend your whole life in this nonsense. It says that the Air Force shut it down in 1969. So this ran apparently from 47 to 69. And they recorded 12,000 supposed 1,600, 12,600 supposed sightings. Only 700 are unidentified. Okay. So largely of these reports, most of them were identified. About 700 unidentified. The conclusion of Blue Book is that no UFO that was reported was designated as a national security threat. Okay, so if the official long-term Blue Balls project, if it didn't amount to any national security threat, why was Jimmy Carter crying? I mean, was he crying because it undid his made-up Baptist church faith? I mean, what? Maybe he was just weeping because the propaganda was so just shitty. They concluded that none of this categorized as unidentified, that it proved extraterrestrial or extraterrestrial vehicles. So you see this right here? So note that for decades, Project Blue Book said there were no actual alien craft or beings. Well, now, wait a minute. If the government is lying here about Project Blue Balls, why would I then turn around and believe the government when they say, no, there's crashed craft and there's smooth, privy part free alien bodies? Remember what Joe Rogan said?
And every one of them said the negatives far outweigh the positives in terms of the impact on the economy, religion, all these different factors, and how it would disrupt society. And in the end, they decided not to disclose.
Yeah, I've heard that many times. I just don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
I don't buy it. I mean, I don't doubt what he's saying. I know all those guys now that you mentioned it. I was in the movie, of course, and I've met them all afterwards. But I just don't buy that. I think we should know. Let us know. Let us decide.
So if there's crashed craft and there's reverse engineered technology like Bob Lazar says, and keep in mind we're going to get to Bob Lazar here in a minute, then why should we believe this when it's the opposite of the government's story for decades? In other words, there's no credibility from known liars lying about their lies once again. I'm looking to see if there's anything else about the MJ-12. Reportedly, there's no references in Blue Book to MJ-12. And to me, that suggests that the original story or narrative of MJ-12, which kicks all this off, that the government is covering up the aliens, was itself bullcrap, right? So that means that if the original story of MJ-12, that the government's covering up the aliens, is false, then the story that we're being told right now, that the government has covered up the aliens forever, is just as untrustworthy. Do you see the contradiction here? Project Blue Book has no record of anything relating to Roswell. Not MJ-12. This is the decades-long investigation of all the reports of UFOs up until the 1969. So for 47 to 1969, there's nothing, according to the Declassified National Archive here, which is Blue Book, there's no reference to Roswell either. And I think Roswell is one of the funniest. I mean, if you look at Roswell, it literally just looks like a piece of trash and like some tinfoil, some trash. And then you got, oh, but I guess we're supposed to just automatically believe a military man because a military man wouldn't lie, right? Are you telling me that a trained military operative would lie? Surely not. I mean, look at this hard evidence, dude. They didn't even have tinfoil in the 1940s, dude. How could you have tinfoil and a bunch of chunks of freaking clay, dude? So they making their spaceships out of hot ass clay. Well, so how are they can do light speed technology, but then they crash because their ship is made of damn clay, dude. They got a Play-Doh ship that just that looks like a damn bugle chip, dude. Bugle chips just crushed. And here's the proof of Roswell: a freaking trash bag, a Muslima, right? That could be just a damn Muslim chick taking a nap, dude. That's a Muslima over there sleep. Allah over there making the devil fart in her ear so she can't go to the call of prayer, like the hadiths say. Y'all believe that hadith? This is the type of evidence. By the way, this is the same type of evidence that convinces the Fatima people, dude. Oh, Fatima, dude. Fatima proves Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, it's the same level of evidence as a damn trash bag on a gurney, dude. A trash bag on a gurney, boy. Yo, you see that trash bag on a gurney, dude? That's alien right there, dude. I saw a damn alien, bro. That's an alien, dude. That's proof. Yeah, but look, he's got tinfoil. How could he have tinfoil if it was a lie? Seriously, though, you think he could just get tinfoil? They didn't even have it in the 50s, dude. Yo, Grandpappy wasn't wrapping up baked potatoes in tinfoil, dude. They didn't even have it. That's probably the aliens brought tinfoil, dude. They taught us how to do it. Reverse engineered baked potato alien tech, dude. When they talk about the engineered alien technology, they're talking about a baked potato, bro. Look at that tinfoil right there. Damn, dude, I'm putting two to two together, bro. So again, if they already declassified Blue Book and it basically gives no evidence of anything, why am I supposed to believe? And by the way, it debunks Blue Book debunks that there was a MJ-12 cover-up. If there's no cover-up, then how am I supposed to believe the government now saying that there was a cover-up when their last 1969 declassification said there was no cover-up? Well, they're telling the truth now. Why is that, Boomer Slop? 'Cause I wanted to believe in it. I need you to believe. Like that Chemical Brothers song. I need you to believe. I want you to believe in something. I need you to believe. The boomers are like, I want to believe in the aliens. I want to believe. I need you to believe. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. I need you to believe. So, we went to Roswell, me and Jamie, right? On the way back from our 20 podcast tour. And Jamie took this photo. You got to see the UFO museum if you go to Roswell. It's so corny, dude. It's straight up Mystery Science Theater. Here we go, dude. This is it. Look at this. Look at him. They're smooth as hell, bro. Dude ain't getting laid because he ain't got no parts. Them aliens is horny as hell because they ain't got no parts, son. This is what they show you at the tongue-in-cheek. It's like a comedy stop, dude. The Alien Museum in Roswell. It's like a joke, right? Dude, that's the exact same level as what they put on Roswell, dude. Look at that. So the Roswell incident with a military man with tinfoil is no different than the comedy-based UFO museum. It's just as stupid. Look at that. Boomers are eating this shit. I seen it. Look at that. That's a real alien right there. I seen him. That's real. How could they fake that? That couldn't be fake. I know it's real because he ain't got no parts. Them aliens, they don't mate like we do. They don't do what we do. Because look at it, they ain't got no parts. They got a different biology. It evolved different. I don't believe in nothing except them aliens. I need you to believe. All right. By the way, we took like 50 pictures. This was just one. There's a shit ton of funny ones. I just didn't upload them all. There's like 50 hilarious photos at the Roswell UFO Museum. This was one of the best though, because the whole time we were just laughing because everything at this joke museum is literally the equivalent of the evidence and the bullshit psyop that they put out. It's like not even any better high quality. And I mean, at least with why aren't they at least putting out AI videos? They're not even putting out AI videos. All right, let's listen to the rest of what he says.
I believe that too, but I wonder what that meeting was like and whether or not they were being truthful to these people or whether it was a thought experiment.
Allegedly, when they told Jimmy Carter, he cried.
That's what I heard too.
I was,
yeah.
It was.
Why? I can't have my peanuts no more. My damn peanut farm is going to go to hell. The aliens are coming back and they're going to wipe out the world's peanuts.
Go into all of it, but I was in a meeting.
What would make him cry?
I don't know. He's a very sensitive guy. But
I understand, but I mean, like,
he was also,
I cried when I saw Old Yeller.
Yeah, I did too. Still cry. But they, he had seen a UFO. You know, he was on a Navy sub, nuclear sub, and I don't know if he saw that when he was on the sub or not. I can't remember. But you know, here he is. Dadgummy's president of the United States, and he
Dadgummit, dadgum, dadgum. They seen the alien. I need you to believe. Good grief, dude. This is just so ridiculous. All right, we got any more alien stuff, or is that all? That's the best of what we got so far? What's this one? That's the 90-degree angle. Here's another one. Oh, wait a minute. By the way, how do we know a lot of these aren't just like advanced military experimentation footage, right? Like maybe they had advanced drones in the 1980s that could do, 90-degree angle turns, and then they're just declassifying, old drone footage. Whoa, aliens, dude. Aliens, bro. Look at that. I mean, so far, all this stuff that we've seen here is just total nonsense, dude. Just garbage. Okay, what is this? Okay, this is supposed to be an alien. I mean, it looks like a damn piece of rice, a grain of rice. I mean, that could be anything. What is this supposed to be? Looks like, dude, I'm starting to think whoever made that point, I think this is the leprechaun, dude. Who else seen a leprechaun say, yeah, yeah. Leprechaun in the hood, dude. No, not that leprechaun. The viral video, dude. Look, it's the leprechaun, dude. That's the leprechaun that was in the news clip. I'm starting to rethink my whole paradigm, dude. My whole worldview just collapsed right now. Because I just put 2 and 2 together. All them old viral videos, them E-Bombs World videos, they're starting to click. It's all coming together in a big picture. The leprechaun sketch, dude. That's the level. That's the level of whatever retard drew this flying triangle. Look, dude, that's proof. Would they have drawn it if it wasn't real? You trying to tell me they would draw something that wasn't real? It is a crackhead. And also could be a crackhead to have drawn this picture right here. All right, what's this one say? Blah, blah, blah. All this says is, if we study the solar system, there might be aliens. Wow. Whoa, what devastating, dude. Amazing. Next level right there. And this is some kind of a recording transcript. Houston, there's particles. Bogey at 10 o'clock. I mean, what even is this? This is the proof. I mean, this is just so retarded. This is nothing, dude. This is absolutely nothing. Alien disclosure. Okay, what are we going to get here? Let's finish this, though.
They got hold to the wrong stuff. And it told...
Consistent that brother is. I'm starting to think he wants the gold. All right, what do we got here? I don't want to watch Miss Monique. I'm trying to get into this alien shit, brah. What is this right here?
Alien life.
So is the truth really out there?
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live with the details. What have you learned, Peter?
Good morning. So a White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 203.
No way. Whoa. Directly from the White House.
That is the all domain resolution office, copy 203. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before.
Oh, just like the fake original Epstein dump, right? Remember that fake ass Epstein dump? Remember the binders? Guess what? They did the binders again. Yes, you heard me right. They did the stupid fake binder thing with their fake influencers that nobody's even heard of. MAGA Patriot 777 pops up, right? Where's the damn bookmarks, bro? It just disappeared. Is this a bookmarks? Here we go. Look, check this out. I know I saved it. Where's it at? No, I shared it. That's right. It was Shane Cashman shared it. That's right. I shared every alien thing I ever did today. So, look, here it is. Look. These fake MAGA mouthpieces. DC Drano. They've got the look, I've got it. They gave me the hard drives. Who believes this boomer shit? This is so stupid.
Some of them have not, and we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024. An inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what this is.
That just looks like a drone. It looks like a drone carrying something. And by the way, you can speed up footage to make it look like, well, it's going really fast.
It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view.
Now, we have seen these little white dots that have been in UFO videos for 2 or 3, 4 decades. Those, I think, actually are something. I don't know what they are. They could be an advanced type of drone. They could be some sort of UFO or spiritual phenomenon, something demonic or angelic. But I don't think all of those are faked, because there were so many of those even before AI was out. Because I've been seeing those kinds of little dots or whatever. No, I'm not backing up Scam Shamu's orbs. That's just dust in his apartment. That's the damn cat dander, dude. But these types of videos, in my opinion, are the most plausible for the element that is unexplained, right? And that, but it also could be just some kind of advanced small little drone, right? We don't know.
CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October 2023. What is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files. And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo 17 included in this big document dump. One of the astronauts says, we've got a few very has long been dismissed in nature of the anomaly.
To Earth. Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, so out of all that, only one clip to me made any sense. This, no idea. That looks like somebody threw a damn starfish. just tossing starfish up in the air, taking pictures. Is this real? I don't even remember sharing this. My dream is when every shitty 2000s band has a podcast that pushes alien BS, and then the world will heal. Only when Train, Nickelback, Disturbed, and Stained all come together for disclosure. That's pretty funny, actually. I don't remember saying that, but I like my old jokes. So here is the website, war.gov. And it says, today the Department of War announces initial release of all of these supposed files. Pursue. Presidential Unsealing Report Systems for UAP, Pursue. Interagency Effort, DOE, Director of National Intelligence, NASA, FBI, blah, blah, blahs. Lord Voldemort's assessment was nothing burger. I definitely agree with that. How come I only got 2 likes on this? This is a pretty amazing post. I put this post up in 2014. It got 2 likes. I'd say that's about as convincing as the other ones. All right, let's see. Here's what Burchett's saying again on the news. Does this not have sound? Here I am at the museum. You can see proof I went there. Proof, video proof.
When I had talked to him on whether these were specifically extraterrestrials or alien in origin, he said interdimensional. He refused to use certain terms, and I think that's incredibly important because I think that that's really the question we're all wanting to know, right? And so I'm actually going to have a sit-down conversation with him and ask him to come back and talk to us directly, because it seems that we are getting more information from the source than going into a...
This is all just to give the impression that the establishment, it really wants the truth out. And they're just duping all of their dumb MAGA boomer cult members as if this is really getting the truth out, when it's just a bunch of bullshit and nonsense.
Skiff and then not being able to tell you guys what we're talking
Is this
about.
stuff that we just as humans might not be able to understand if it's interdimensional?
I think that we can understand it. I think that it's just, it's an approach, right? I mean, like, remember...
Man, the world of normies, man, is something else, dude. Is it just something that we can't understand because it's interdimensional?
We just now, for the first time in history, really had Congress have whistleblowers come forward credible that we're telling the entire world that there is something up.
How do we know who is the credible whistleblowers? Where are they? I've not seen any credible whistleblowers. Let's try UFO files. I want to see if we're getting anything even remotely interesting yet. Dude, my search is just pulling up me, dude. So all I'm seeing is the same recycled bullcrap. All right, let's see what this one is. That's the dot from earlier. Dots from earlier. Another dot. That could be a satellite. That could be anything. Drone. Oh, dude, it's the Ophanim. Look at this. That's Fatima. Dude, you got two mobsters, dude. That's Al Capone with an alien, bro. I seen a picture with Al Capone and a couple aliens, dude. You telling me that ain't real? That's Tony Soprano with the aliens, dude. That's a gabagool. The taste of the alien. It tastes like a gabagool. What the fucking alien tastes like gabagool? Carmelo, while they say alien, it tastes like gabagool. There is an image of a who this is this that clickbait? This is that stupid ass fake clickbait site guy, Matt Wallace. All he does is post the most retarded clickbait shit. He gets 1 million views just saying nonsense, and he says there's an image of an angel in the UFO files. Where? What is that? Dude, Dasha knows what's up. Look, Dasha's like, I'm not stupid enough to even give a fuck about the UFO files. Dasha's on point. I saw a damn orb, boy. That's an orb right there. Andrew, correct. UFO files are bullshit. Nothing in it. Correct. People, boomers putting up AI images of a cherubim from Ezekiel. Dude, it's Ezekiel, dude. Look, it's Ezekiel, bro. It's the chariot wheels of Ezekiel, dude. Look at these pictures. Dude, look. It's the SS, bro. It's the SS walking with a fake and gray. Dude, History Channel confirmed, bro. History Channel vindicated, dude. There's a picture. That's real. That's real right there. Daily Mail. UFO files reveal jaw-dropping claim that tiny mustache man could build a saucer that could go 1,500 miles an hour, dude. You believe that? Yeah, of course. Now, this is all History Channel bullshit. We're back to George Tsoukalos, bro. It's Tsoukalos time. It's time for Tsoukalos to shine. Where's he at? This is his time to. This is his vindication. I'm joking, of course, but where's he at? He ought to be out here front page. This is his whole world right here, dude. Look at this dude looking like a damn freaking Looking like a damn ugly Greek Guy Fieri. Sukalos looking like an ugly Greek Guy Fieri over here. We got to get a clip of him. I did an impression of him a long time ago. I don't remember how to do it, though. Let's see. Come on now. Come on now, YouTube. Don't do this to me right now. We're right in the middle of the most important breaking news in the history of the world, dude. Extraterrestrial life. Fox Mulder confirmed. And the aliens are hacking the signal, dude. They're hacking my mainframes. They're trying to shut the message down. I'm trying to go full Sukalos over here. Never go full Sukalos. What the freaking A, dude? Freaking freak, bro. Why are you doing this to me, son? What the hell? I'm trying to go full Sukalos and the internet won't let me do it. Here, let's go to 360p. Will that work? That's the same resolution all the alien footage is shot in. 144p. Let's go with that. Maybe you can only watch alien clip. Aliens can only be seen at 144p. Did anybody even consider that as a possibility? What if aliens are just at low res in reality? You got to go down to 144p, dude. What the hell? Sukalos, why are you messing with my mind, bro? Good grief, dude. What the internet has been fine all day long. Maybe so many people are watching George Sukalos videos that you just can't even. He's breaking the internet right now. I'll try it this way. This dude's made a whole career on this alien bullshit. I'll never have the audience and the views of this freak. Let's read a few Sukala chats since I can't get the damn internet to work. Tip Lab says, Christ is risen. Indeed he is. Recommend the best online store for prayer corner icons. Let me just get Uncut Mountain. What about bound texts, prayer books, liturgy, Psalter, Holy Transfiguration Monastery? Guap, $5. Dire Docs. Altar Void, $10. I'm still waiting on alien bodies and DNA. No hard proof. It's all guessing and lies. Dude, you're overlooking the most obvious. Human DNA is proof of aliens. It's proof of alien DNA. You didn't even think about that, did you? All right, I'm pissed off if I don't get my Sukalos. Give me aliens, bro, right now. Come on. Yes. I like how this clip warns you ahead of time. you will have your mind blown. Relax, settle in, say a prayer. You're about to have your whole paradigm and your mind blown by the Greek Guy Fieri.
The only way the ancient astronaut theory can be disproven is when the extraterrestrials show up and say we were never here in the past.
Oh, shit. That just blew my mind right there.
Technically speaking, we were still primitive, and they just gave us a push, a gentle push in the right direction.
Yes, clearly. It's the only way any of this makes sense at all, right? He's an insider, too, by the way.
There are still many mysteries out there for which we have no information. It's gorgeous, but what is it? Today, we have the most magnificent technologies. We are making
aliens.
Strides in new discoveries in science.
So, therefore, aliens. Look at this dude. Boogie? What's Boogie got to do with this? George Tsoukalos is hard up. He's over here bringing that fat, crazy streamer Boogie on.
I think the true age of exploration still lies ahead of us.
Ancient aliens.
Devastating stuff right here, dude. Just mind-blowing stuff.
Well, this morning's Coffee With is with Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Close enough. Even she can't say it. Even Wine Mom over here can't say it. Sasakalakalas. Giorgio Shaktalabikioku. Georgios Shalaktalabikilioku.
Satellite interview is furnished by the History Channel. Giorgio, welcome to WJC. Good morning. How are you?
I mean, dude's got a Flowbee, but doesn't cut his hair with the Flowbee. He just flows with the Flowbee. Do y'all even know what a Flowbee is? A lot of y'all young pups don't know what a Flowbee is. When I was in high school, this dumbass commercial would come on every night, and it's a vacuum.
Do you hate
It's a vacuum that you cut your hair with.
yourself and your family, but hate haircuts even more? Introducing the Flowbee
Man, I fucking hate haircuts so much, I can't even describe it.
Precision haircutting system. Get that freshly sucked hair you've always dreamed of without leaving.
Man, I want that hair sucked, boy. I don't get enough of that freshly sucked hair feeling. Somebody should invent an object that does that.
In the house, you can suck your whole family, mom, sister, and watch Uncle Steve suck himself.
Oh, now this is somebody this is a real commercial, but that was somebody with a dumb overlay. Let's try this.
Every day, people are discovering just how fun and easy it is to get a precision
Fun
layered
as hell,
haircut
dude.
right in the convenience of their own home with the incredible Flowbee Precision Haircutting System. Flowbee cuts from a 1/2 inch to 6 inches long with many different styles.
Damn, boy.
Layered haircuts to choose from.
I get a perfect haircut every time with my Flowbee.
Tell me he doesn't have a perfect haircut. A lot of y'all haters are saying shit in the chat. But tell me it's not a perfect haircut.
Flowbee.
Save time and money with a Flowbee.
Simply connect the Flowbee to your vacuum while the internal blades cut.
Yes, you heard me right. This is my best friend in high school. His mom bought a Flowbee, and we thought that was the funniest thing of all time. Like, it was just hilarious, and nobody ever used it either. Like, she bought it and it just sat in the attic. They never used it.
Only the amount of hair that you set the adjustable spacers to. And there's never any cleanup because
It's not the 80s, it's the 90s. Because I remember I was in high school when this was on. 1994. Yeah, this is not in the 80s, dude.
all the hair is removed right into your vacuum as it cuts. And now at this special low price, your Flowbee can pay for itself in just a few haircuts.
I mean, maybe the Flowbee existed in the 80s, but the infomercials were in the 90s. This says 1994.
If a family of 4 spends $8 each every 4 to 5 weeks on haircuts.
All right, y'all check the math here. Double check this math, y'all. All y'all math nerds, check this out.
That's $32, which means your Flowbee could pay for itself in just 2 to 3 months. Start getting great-looking haircuts now. Get your Flowbee today.
I love my Flowbee.
There you go. So look, Tsoukalos Tsoukalos is misusing the Floby. He's using the Floby in unnatural ways. Literal, just heaven, sins crying against heaven for vengeance. Unnatural uses of the Floby to just suck the hair up, but not actually remove any hair.
Very well. How about you guys?
What we're doing great.
Dude, that fake ass clap for the local news station? That's so cringe, dude. Listen to this.
How are you?
Very well. How about you guys?
What we're doing great.
What a welcome.
History Channel, Ancient Aliens. Look, I got to be honest with you. I love space. I love physics. I love the science of astronomy.
Dude, this boomer, he loves this shit. He loves space, science, physics, and astronomy. Are you going to try to tell me that the boomers at local news don't know their shit? He just listed 4 disciplines that probably most of y'all know nothing in.
I love physics. I love the science of astronomy.
Hell yeah, all of
I
them.
would love to think that we have been or currently being visited.
By the way, what happened to the chunky wine mom? We went from hold on, look at this. We got wine mom here who can't pronounce Georgios Shaktalabikiyoku, and then suddenly we got switched with chunky Asian mom. What the hell, dude? Local news is pulling psyops on us, bro. They doing damn body replacements.
Don't see it. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong and what folks will find out from Ancient Aliens.
I'm not telling you at all that you are wrong, because if you entertain the idea of the ancient astronaut theory, then every person has to be ready to look at these ancient texts and ancient monuments from our perspective, because everything was built and created by human beings. The only thing,
dude, this show is like 30 seasons in. I mean, it's something crazy, right? Like, it's probably still going. And I don't care how good your content is. Look, you even got freaking Georgios Clooney over here doing a damn Floby. Look at this.
George Clooney is a big fan of the Floby, and now good luck finding one.
It seems like with the Floby, you can...
Shit, I need a Floby now. That'll give me a smooth-ass George Clooney Caesar cut, dude. I want that Caesar Clooney cut from '98, bro.
I have had it for 22 years.
But it really took off when Clooney, whose hair always looks impeccable, told Jimmy Kimmel 5 days ago that he's been using a Floby for nearly 25 years.
Oh, see, all you Floby haters just got floored. Y'all just got bodied, dude. Tell me you're going to get a Caesar cut as smooth as Cloon Dog without a Floby. It ain't going to happen.
That we are suggesting is that it didn't begin in a vacuum, but that at some point, just like the ancient texts are suggesting, someone descended from the sky and imparted this knowledge to us. Just like you two, during your lives, you've had teachers, like all of us have had teachers. The ancient astronaut theory suggests that at some point, even the beginning of mankind had teachers. That's all we're suggesting.
So your show takes us to all these different locations around the world to see real examples of these visits.
And there are many.
Yes, and look.
Do 17 seasons. Ancient Aliens is on its 17th season. Is it finally finished or is it still going? Let's see. No, 22. 22 seasons, dude. Skulls of the Gods, bro. It's still going. It's still going. They're on season 22. Now, my show, which was 1,000 times better than this retarded show, my show got canceled after 1 season. But if you talk about fake and gay aliens, you're set for life, dude. You got 22 seasons, 25,000 seasons coming.
Ancient Aliens explores this idea whether or not Earth has been visited by extraterrestrials
extraterrestrial beings, and we travel all around the world to, for example, Egypt, to Peru, South America, Greece, Italy, Scandinavia, all over the place, because in our opinion, each and every ancient culture has been visited by these teachers. And so, you know, I think that even people who've never tuned into ancient aliens should...
Dude, they're going to have a season for every light year that it took the aliens to get here. Ancient Galians are going to have 22 million seasons because of all the light years.
Tune in, because if anything, it's a great adventure of exploration.
So this is just a promo pitch for this stupid ass show. No actual information, nothing actually interesting there. All right, let's see if there's a little more info, and then we're going to get into the debunking. We're going to go hardcore debunking in a minute. What else do we got? Anything? Mario Nafal, he's always putting out the latest leaks. Let's see what he's putting out. Volcanoes, chicks, kickboxing, chick boxing, robots. Where's the aliens at, dude? So he ain't even covering aliens. Here we go. Here's one. Nope, that's war. Dude's over here covering damn Hooters. Bro covering Hooters. So no aliens over here? I thought he'd be all over this. 3 glowing objects. Weak sauce. Pentagon UFO files includes on page 9 a 1966 alien transmission. Dude, this is obvious like bullshit. You know what? What if they put this out to discredit the Epstein files? Since all of what they're putting out is such obvious like bullshit, maybe they put this out to discredit all leaks and declassifications, right? Because intelligent people are going to say, oh, all this alien shit's bullshit. So maybe the Epstein, well, you wouldn't be intelligent if you thought that, but maybe that's what they were thinking, like to just shit all over all declassifications. The 1966 alien transmission claims that an ascended master Kalen Lee, dude, that's out of Superman, dude. Kal-El, Kalen Lee, Kal-El, from the planet Corindor, 400 light years away. So now we know how many seasons the Ancient Aliens do. Thank God it won't be 400 million. It's only going to be 400 seasons for each light year. They've been observing Earth. The message describes the beings as spiritually evolved, technologically advanced, and they're opposed to war. And they want to set up a non-authoritarian government on Earth. Same old bullshit every time. Links to the files. All right, what happens if we go to the actual files? What do we get? All right, what's this? Oh shit, a dot, dude. Another black dot. Whoa. A helicopter and a dot. 2 dots, could be anything. I mean, what the hell is that? Okay, it's funny when you read the description, it says, this is a composite sketch. Okay, this one has nothing. I like how this is an image of nothing. Boomer slop. This is pure boomer slop, dude. So the actual files are just literally this. It's worse than anything I've ever seen, even on UFO conspiracy YouTube channels. You could go to conspiracy YouTube channels and find cooler supposed evidence than this stuff. Eerie humanoid image. It's just some dude's sketch. It's a leprechaun, bro. What is this? So everybody's just posting slop everywhere. This is the sketch. That's Body World, dude. Somebody went to Body World and did a sketch. That's all that is. So on YouTube, on X, literally nobody has posted anything that isn't just absolute garbage. And now they're talking about the Book of Enoch. Joe Rogan suggests that the file dump could be a distraction from Epstein and war. Yeah, exactly. It's a distraction from Epstein and war. That's what Tim Dillon said too. Here is a thread of each of the UFO videos released today. Nothing, dot, nothing, dot. So was the only thing released just that one page, or is it a bunch? By the way, why is every video black and white? You know that the military has, do they not even have 1080? You're telling me that the giant imperial spy operation of the NSA and the military and all that they don't have 1080? I mean, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Imagine believing this too, being so dumb. And this is all you get. This is what they actually have up. I mean, they actually think that you're just totally retarded. Now, let's get to the debunking. As if we didn't already debunk. We are going to remind you guys of Mirage Men, which is one of the best documentaries on the UFO phenomenon. And today we're going to actually watch some of it. Hopefully we can get away with some of it because it is up free on YouTube on multiple places. So we're going to check this out. I'm going to put it on fast and we're going to watch and comment on Mirage Men. You're going to see what I've been saying.
Attention projectionist. Adjust the lens so that your picture will be focused properly before the show starts.
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack.
People of Earth, attention.
In 1952, the Central Intelligence Agency, faced with a huge public interest in flying saucers, brought in a panel.
What's with the two greasy black dudes? That was weird.
Reports as objective devices of some kind, but that nevertheless, the government had to exercise great care to debunk the stories, and individual civilians who expressed an interest in flying saucers ought to be carefully watched, said the Robertson panel. And I believe that to be the founding document, the document giving the long-range strategy that has been followed by the U.S. government. The general feeling amongst people who have devoted a big chunk of their life to studying UFOs, I think, is fear that they have been taken for a ride, that these cases are hoaxes, but sophisticated hoaxes carried out by...
Well, in many cases, they're not very sophisticated. They're just like low-level, tard-level hoaxes.
Their own government.
What do you want with me?
The professional disinformer, trained to lie.
Now, the first person that comes to the fore of this documentary is Richard Doty, who we've talked about as Air Force counterintelligence, who was actually trained to be the key figure for several decades as the disinformation operative over all this alien nonsense. So that's who this is. Keep that in mind because he's a key player.
I'm Richard Doty. There's probably about 80% of false information being presented, about 20% of factual information. Unfortunately, the UFO community doesn't know which is which.
And that's your job to keep it that way?
That was my job.
So notice the UFO community is given 80% disinfo, 20% true. And that whole boomer slop audience of NICAP, MUFON, all those agencies, they were given all this disinformation, 80% disinformation according to him, and they have no clue what's real and what's not, but only 20% of it, according to him, is real.
Before, I'm a private citizen now, but back in the early 80s, it was my job to confuse the UFO community.
Doty was representing himself, as I recall, as basically this sort of deep throat.
Doty. Now, did you see who that was? That was Star Trek The Next Generation producer. Yes, you saw that right.
Doty was
Tracy Torme, TV producer, story editor on Star Trek Next Generation. Captain Picard, engage. #1, right? You got freaking Captain Picard. That's who this guy works with. Richard Doty, the disinformation Air Force intelligence operative, will be working with this guy to help craft a bunch of the fake old school 80s era UFO alien craft videos.
representing himself, as I recall, as basically this sort of deep throat.
Doty had this wonderful way to sell it. I'm with the government, you cooperate with us, and I'm going to tell you what the government really knows about UFOs.
Doty found a lot of gullible people in the UFO community that would easily believe what he said without any type of scrutiny.
My commander, told me, there's this guy, Special Agent Doty, and you got to be careful because, he kind of, made the impression I got was, he had kind of made the Air Force a little nervous. Maybe they didn't say, egg on their face or anything, but they were just very cautious.
The main reason.
So I'll read a couple more super chats because if you've never seen this, we're not going to watch the whole documentary, but I wanted to get to the key points that I mentioned in previous shows about how they select the disinformation mouthpieces, right? So they'll talk about Bob Moore, they'll talk about Linda Moulton Howe, and then they'll also talk about, they don't mention Bob Lazar, but I think Bob Lazar is the present day version of the previous eras of Bob Moore and Linda Moulton Howe, right? So Bob Lazar just happens to be the more recent version of this.
That we in the UFO...
And by the way, the Blink-182 goofball, what's his name? The goofus that created the UFO Children's Academy, and he was on all these shows for years pushing it. Tom DeSchlong's bullshit.
You'll recognize the name Richard Doty, is that a man named Paul Benowitz, a self-made man, a very successful businessman, was systematically driven insane, wound up in an insane asylum, under treatment for a long time, lost his business, had to turn it over to his family, and was...
Yeah, I forgot Stephen Greer, too, yeah. Stephen Greer and Bob Lazar are like the present-day versions of this.
Destroyed by the efforts of Richard Doty.
You hear about the ones that something goes wrong. You hear about the ones where there's an unfortunate incident, or in some cases, they're failures. It was unfortunate what happened to Mr. Benowitz, but they were supposed to protect something, and they did their job.
That's the part of the base that Paul Benowitz could see. You can see the Manzano Mountain here, where all the nuclear weapons were stored. Kirtland Air Force Base is the perimeter fence. Paul Benowitz's house is right over 9. Paul was standing up on his deck and looking out over the roofs towards the base, and these lights he saw would probably be about half a mile away. There was always
I'm going to skip a little bit of Paul Benowitz's story because that part is not that interesting. But let's go here.
Do with a Soviet threat or some kind of hostile threat against Kirtland. It was information that he had gathered because of the fact he was a scientist and because he had sensitive and sophisticated equipment. He was collecting emissions coming from the base. And we had to decide on what we were going to do then. Were we going to allow this to happen, or we were trying to convince him otherwise?
So if you don't recall, Paul Benowitz, who was decades back interested in the UFO phenomena, he started recording and studying about the phenomenon next to a military base. And this was annoying the military base people like Richard Doty. And so they commissioned Doty to go get him to stop recording and trying to figure out what was going on, because the Air Force was trying to advance technologies against the Soviets. And if this guy, leaked information or something like that, it would disrupt the secrets surrounding the Cold War.
They sent Doty and a physicist. Paul was being occupied with the other guy. Rick was taking pictures of all Benowitz's equipment in his house.
The more he had contact with me and others within the intelligence community, the more he started analyzing the information. So we kind of planted the seed in Paul that what he was seeing and what he was hearing and what he was collecting was, in fact, probably maybe UFOs. And it was very...
So they planted the seed in Paul Benowitz's head that the information and the video and the radar stuff that he was gathering, that data, that it was UFO stuff. And so Richard Doty will become this representative on the government's part to liaison with Paul Benowitz, who is just a goofball boomer patriot who thinks he's going to, reveal the truth. And they're going to manipulate him as they do the several people afterwards. I forgot. I think Paul Benowitz is the first of their dupes. And then it goes to Bob Moore. And then it goes to Linda Moulton Howe.
Easy to convince Paul. Paul was a World War II veteran. He's very patriotic.
It was easy to convince him because he was a veteran and a patriot. Boom. There you go.
Flew his flag. Those type of people you can convince that, listen, just telling Paul, you can't tell anybody else about this because it's, they could get in the wrong hands. And so immediately Paul became a cooperating source.
They play on the patriotism and the naivete of these goofy boomers.
He held everything that he had gotten in secrecy.
Doty was feeding this man all kinds of lies about UFOs and aliens being kept underneath a mountain nearby, and so on and so forth. And
now, this guy unfortunately believes Richard Doty, but notice that Doty was claiming that there's alien bodies in underground bases. This narrative that we've heard for 40, 50 years also. They've got them aliens in the deep underground, the deep underground military bases. And here's Richard Doty admitting, yeah, it's just bullshit.
Of course, was believing all of this.
He had two films of an object flying. One picture depicted an object that looked like it was flying out of the mountain. And it looked like some kind of saucer-shaped object. He immediately then thought that there were UFOs coming out of Monsanto. The second film was of an object that was something experimental that the government was doing.
So notice, Richard Doty admits that the first film was just something coming out of a mountain. Paul Benowitz assumed that it was aliens. And then the second video was drones.
He filmed that, then again, the flag went up that he just filmed a classified project.
So notice, Doty admits it was just a classified project, aka some kind of drone. Back in, this is 70s or 80s, I guess. Hello? Mirage Men is telling you what this whole phenomena is.
Paul made a presentation to the Air Force officials on what he had been doing and about what he had been collecting. He showed some of his film. He showed some of his pictures. He had an audio recorder that was playing the sounds that he'd collected from the base. The highest ranking person in the room, which was a brigadier general, said, "You have some very convincing information, Paul." And that kind of set everything in motion with Paul to let him think that, yep, he does.
From the point he came in and gave that meeting, they decided all his perceptions were going to be directed exactly the way that the intelligence organizations wanted.
We briefed everybody in the room, so they knew what we were doing, basically. And so after the meeting, there was a number of questions asked to him, what do you want the Air Force to do? And Paul says, I'd like a grant to investigate UFOs on the base and a grant to continue this contact that he claimed he had with some of these aliens, which, that's a different story. At one point, another agency was conducting an investigation, and they set up a...
So this, by the way, is where they're going to rope-a-dope him in. I think it's Benowitz. It's been some years since I watched this documentary, but they basically rope-a-dope this goober in, bring him into the base, talk him up, play onto his vanity and pride. And they're like, we need you to be the voice to the people. It's too dangerous right now to tell everybody what's going on. So we need to have a controlled leak. And we've chosen you because you're such an awesome, smart patriot, Paul. We want you to speak to the UFO community and the people.
Almost across the street from him. And Paul's son contacted me and said, leave my father alone. You guys are across the street and you're bothering my father. He's getting to the point that he's being paranoid. Well, I knew it wasn't us.
He said he saw people coming in and out of the house and looking out from the curtains and things like that. And as it turns out, the NSA had some people in this house. They were watching him and actually beaming messages straight across the street into his antenna setup.
Did you hear that? So this goofy boomer has set up an antenna and he's trying to record stuff at the base. And so he did actually record some of their, test operations. And so the NSA comes and sets up a van and then they start broadcasting bullshit to his antenna.
He'd started picking up these signals and the NSA was scared that anybody could figure that out. They decided to just take complete control of what he was seeing and give him exactly what he thought he should be getting.
So they faked to this goofy boomer that he was seeing aliens and hearing alien transmissions. Dr. J says, photo on page 99 of the Galilean Files is a German magazine that was an April Fool's joke in 1950. Yeah, exactly. And all these idiots on X are sharing it like it's some real thing. That's hilarious. Let me see. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. On Planks and Pieces, $10. Have you read Annie Jacobson's book on Area 51? No, I read her entire giant DARPA book. That was one of the global elite texts. I have her Area 51 book, and I have her paperclip book, but I've not read the Area 51 one. What do you think about Alfred O'Donnell telling her that Roswell was a surgically modified disabled person, and it was from Russia, and it was used as propaganda? I would believe that before anything else. Yeah. I mean, a lot of this had to do with Cold War propaganda too, so absolutely. Cody said for $10, I can't tell if the Suds like Tim are grifting with their post of amazement. You talking about Tim Gordon, Tim Poole, Tim Burchert? Who's the Sud here? Genuinely finding low tier stuff convincing. A lot of people on X are just trying to get clicks and traction. That's all they're up to. So, but I don't know which Tim you're talking about. Mr. Funzerker, $5. We've got aliens before we got predators. Come on. When is the Alien Predator movie? Step this teasing up, Trump. Exactly. Caleb, have you ever heard of talking plasma? No. What is that? They triangulate lasers and they make an orb thing in the sky. Well, I've seen the papers about HARP using plasma, but I don't know about talking plasma. But maybe. Anthony AC, $10. Is he a pastor? Friends, everybody's a pastor. Would that everybody were a pastor?
They replaced his computer with their own computer. The computer had software that would decode the messages he was getting in the way they want.
So they were going hard on poor Paul Benowitz, dude. They replaced his entire computer with an NSA computer that would spit out alien bullshit.
Him to see them.
I mean, I know that they're being mean to this poor man, but it's also kind of funny, right? They're like next level trolling this dude.
And if you look at the transcript of it, it seems like almost gibberish, but because people want to pull out content from a random order, it starts to make some kind of sense. They said that they were from a planet with no water, and they were trying to find a new place to live.
So notice how sophisticated the alien psyop was with Paul Benowitz. They actually gave him false transmissions to his boomer ham radio setup and replaced his whole computer with a fake NSA computer that would spit out gibberish that had alien code in it.
Wanted to take over the Earth, and they could only trust Paul. They were going to have some kind of agreement with him, but he said you can't trust anything they say. These aliens are evil, and serve to make him look silly, which is exactly what they're trying to do.
Paul actually thought that these UFOs had to be coming from some other place. So Paul on his own went up to Archuleta Peak, which is up in northern Mexico, around Dulce, New Mexico, and he did his own investigation, basically. Dulce and Archuleta Peak area had a superstition for many years, way before we were ever involved. There were strange lights and strange stories about that area coming from the Indian tribe that lives up there.
If somebody wanted to hide something here, it'd be pretty easy. It's very remote. It's supposedly the site of an underground alien base. That rumor got started in the early 1980s because of what was told to Paul Benowitz by the Air Force Office of Special Investigation.
Paul is a pilot, and he had a plane, and he flew around those areas, and he saw things, and he filmed things up there that, again, presented a problem for us because what he was filming up there was actually a secretive military installation that was training commandos.
So because in the middle of the Cold War, he's flying his own plane around and filming military bases, which obviously they're not going to let you do that. He is then just totally fucked with into oblivion. And they use him. He becomes a very useful dupe. And then they realize, actually, we can just repeat this. We've got a bunch of useful dupes. And then they're going to bring up Bob Moore and Linda Moulton Howe. And you'll notice it's the exact same pattern with Bob Lazar and Greer as well.
But then we had to convince Paul that what he was seeing up there was, again, UFOs.
The Air Force actually put him in a helicopter with Rick Doty the first time and flew him up to a place above Dulce called Archuleta Mesa.
So notice this. They start bringing him in he's thinking, oh, I'm on the inside with the white hats. I'm working with the white hats inside the government. It's like old school Q-tard, dude. This is QAnon of the 80s, bro. And he thinks he's being brought in. They even take him up in a helicopter and let him see stuff. By the way, they're also going to later on, they're going to describe bringing a person in. I can't remember if it's Bob Moore or Benowitz, but they sit him down and they bring these generals in. And they sit him down at a conference room at the base. And this general comes in and they put a VHS tape in, and it's the thing that the Star Trek The Next Generation guy filmed. And they're like, this is the craft landing here at the base, son. We need you to be our ambassador to the people on the part of the aliens.
And before they took him up there, they dumped a bunch of props up there. They flew him up there, flew him over the mesa and said, you're right, Paul.
You hear that? So they take him up in a helicopter as they show him props that they're flying. Just drones.
Look, there's stuff here. There's some evidence of what's going on. Why don't you check this out for us?
So I would go with Paul up there, and we actually camped out there a couple times. And we actually saw some things that startled me, which were fully explained later. But one of the things was kind of interest was lights coming out of the ground. But the way the lights, these beams were coming out of the ground in a pulse kind of manner, that it looked like there were saucers flying out of these mountains. And I actually saw this. And I was somewhat concerned that maybe Paul stumbled onto something.
So even Doty didn't know exactly what tech they were using, but he says later on we realized that it was just staged.
Paul was flying what he called his missions up around Archuleta Mesa and was...
What year? This is early 80s. Doty and the narrator just said early 80s.
Send back fascinating letters, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages long, handwritten with pencil sketches of what he'd seen. And finally, he started sending large format 8x10 photographs taken with his Hasselblad, in which it'd say, well, here's the black atomic-powered ship that crashed last week. And he'd circle it, and I'd look at that, and bless his heart, I couldn't see anything that resembled a crashed anything.
Something actually did crash near Dulce on the Mesa in the late 1980s. Benowitz just happened to be flying over and took some pictures of it. And so the disinformation campaign had to be ratcheted up even more. The Air Force, they knew it was something that they were testing up in this area and that had gone off course and crashed. Of course, they told Paul Benowitz that it was some sort of alien craft that had been given to the humans to use, and that they had...
So the Air Force is testing a drone craft, and it crashes. Paul Benowitz, because he keeps obsessing over this, thinks that he's caught the alien craft crashing and the cover-up, and they tell him that that's exactly what it is.
Got it out of the sky as some sort of a lesson. Agents would break into his house to see what he had, and at one point he had these pictures of whatever had crashed up there, and they were very interested in getting these pictures, so they did. From then on, he went up and just took pictures of where it had crashed. What probably crashed there was some sort of unmanned aerial vehicle, and now they're over in the Middle East.
There you go, a drone. So the Air Force was working on drones all the way back. They were actually using drones in Vietnam. We covered that when we covered the Douglas Valentine book. There's also another book. It's about the technological capabilities that I've mentioned it. I haven't read the whole book, read a couple chapters out. There's a book on the technological capabilities that the military had in Vietnam. The name of it escapes me right now, but they were using this kind of stuff even in Vietnam, right?
Controlled killing people in cars as they drive across the desert. And in 1985, they didn't really want anybody to have any knowledge of this kind of thing. They took great pains to explain to him that it was this atomic-powered aircraft that the aliens helped us with, and bring down that laughter curtain again so people...
So hear that? It was atomic alien craft that the aliens helped us build. So the reverse engineered alien tech lie, bullcrap, is being used right here with Paul Benowitz.
Wouldn't pay attention. They think it was another UFO nut.
Somebody gave him a satellite picture of the landing area. In '83, he went up there with me and the chief of police for the Hickory Apache tribe. They had made a landing pad, and he took us right to the spot. They were giving him this information. Some of it was true, some of it wasn't. See, and I think that was the biggest problem that he had coping with. Why this, why not the other? See,
he thought that this was the place where the aliens were getting together to take over the world, and he wanted to trap them all there, kill them all in one fell swoop, and save the Earth. By the mid-'80s, he was getting to the point where...
So you hear that? Already in early 1980s, they're using the narrative of We have to work together. The aliens are going to come and kill us all. They're duping this stupid disinformation agent Boomer with all this nonsense.
He had written all these letters to congressmen, senators, TV stations, even President Reagan saying, this is what's going on. The Air Force is cooperating with me. These are the people who are cooperating with me and giving me this information. Ernest Edwards, Richard Doty, all this. He would put their names in these letters. He'd get answers back saying, we're not interested in the UFO subject. And there was this kind of cognitive dissonance. Here are people in the government telling him, yes, you're right, this stuff is going on. Let's keep an eye on it.
So notice, this is fostering the narrative that the government is covering it up. The whole disinformation campaign using Paul Benowitz is supporting the narrative that the government has a deal that they've made with one of the races of the aliens, and we have to do this to save Earth. It's all fake and gay, right?
On it, and then elected officials and other people in the media saying, we don't know what you're talking about, this isn't very important. And nobody seemed to care what he was talking about except the Air Force.
So many people knew, ultimately, about Paul Benowitz, and that's sad.
By the way, again, I mean, do people not realize that the job of the military and the intelligence agencies, number one, is to lie? That's job number one. That's the first skill set that people who go into intelligence and espionage are trained in. Convincing lying, right? Are you a convincing liar? Okay, good. Now you're capable for this job. And then the public, because they're naive and goobers, they just believe, oh, I'm a patriot. The government wouldn't lie to me.
Strange, horrible story. That it got way out of the realm of just a cute flying saucer story.
Paul was convinced that everything he was doing was UFO related. I actually sat down with Paul and told Paul, listen, Paul, I think you ought to stop doing this. I think you've gone as far as you can go, and this is a friend. This is Richard Doty, a friend. Wasn't Richard Doty a special agent with OSI talking to him? I said, this is a friend talking to you, Paul, because I became a friend with him. He was a very wonderful person, and I didn't want to see him harmed. And I said, Paul, stop it. Listen to your son, listen to your wife, end it. Get rid of the equipment, lock the stuff away, go on with your life, go back to your work at your business, and stop this. Paul listened to me, and I thought maybe he was going to take my advice, but he didn't. He continued and continued and continued, and at that point, we ended the investigation. We ended every involvement with Paul.
So the poor guy went crazy. Let's move on to the next person.
Later, I sat down with Paul at dinner and told Paul exactly that everything we did was a sanctioned counterintelligence operation to convince him.
And they even told him that it was all fake. They're like, hey, by the way, we just used you the whole time.
That what he was seeing was UFOs, and that what we didn't want him to know was that he tapped into something on the base, and we didn't want him to ever disclose that. Paul looked at me and said, you don't have to lie to me, Rick. I know it's UFOs related.
So he was already locked into the boomer paradigm. He had already sunken cost fallacy, believed in faking aliens for however many years, and then didn't want to realize that he'd been lied to.
He was caught right in the middle of it. And then he was used. If it hadn't been for Paul Benowitz, I would have never known 70% of the stuff that was going on. And we're finding the evidence at the mutilations. Gas masks that were made by the military, radar shaft, and the tranquilizers that were in it, atropine, they were injecting them with atropine. I was up front with the ranchers.
Now, this is getting into the cattle mutilations, which they're also going to note is done by the military to give the impression that the aliens are cutting up the cows and, kneading cow balls and butts.
They were losing cattle and nobody was compensating them. I wasn't hiding anything. I never did.
I'm established as somebody who is doing all of this news and documentary. So
now this is Linda Moulton Howe of Late Night with George Norrie fame, Coast to Coast fame. And she is actually one of the people that they later chose to be one of these disinformation people.
I start getting newspapers. People are sending, Linda, what is the answer? Okay, this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get to the bottom of this animal mutilation mystery. And finally, in October of '79, Lou Girotto, who was the head of the district attorney's office in Trinidad, says, with our cameras running finally, well, investigators and I have come to the conclusion we're dealing with creatures not from this planet, is the way he put it, which is in my film, The Strange Harvest. And said all the reasons why. The orange lights that he and a deputy had seen go into the ground, come out, split in two, in pastures where they had mutilated animals.
We did follow one, and it stayed there. It was hovering on top of the cattle, Manuel Gomez's cattle. And when I was going to try to intercept it myself, he flew over me.
He says, my real job is I'm in a special group in New Mexico. we've been doing something that is really, really interesting. He said, it just blows my mind. I just don't, he says, we got these helicopters that I'm flying, he says. These helicopters are all fixed on. First of all, they got no markings on them. Second of all, they're really fast. Third, they're really quiet. And they got a lot of lights. We got red lights. We got white lights. We got strobe lights. I said,
So drones, again, appearing at the sites of cattle mutilation.
what are you talking about? He says, we pretend we're UFOs. What the hell is that?
And this guy says we pretend they're UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
Construction
Actually
of
put some of that in the book.
nuclear waste facility there.
No, not waste, but they exploded an atomic bomb underneath about 10 miles from Dulce to try and get gas out of the ground. It's the stupidest idea. They couldn't use the gas because it was radioactive.
New programs of the Atomic Energy Commission and other agencies are designed to expand the use.
This is going to get better because they're going to get to the guy, the person that gets duped with the Star Trek Next Generation footage.
Usefulness of nuclear energy. Before work is begun on any of these programs, the government thoroughly evaluates the health and safety factors, often for several years.
Project Gas Buggy was an underground nuclear detonation that took place in 1967 in Dulce, New Mexico. It was an attempt to release natural gas reserves from the subterranean environment in a sort of early version of what we've now.
A bunch of pictures of the aircraft that was coming out of the Kirtland area. But we were watching the same aircraft flying the Dulce area, see? Everybody's looking at these sophisticated aircraft, and I'm going to say, well, they're the ones that mutilated the cattle.
So again, eyewitness is saying that it's the aircraft that somehow come down and do the cattle mutilations. Let's skip ahead to the next boomer that gets duped. Okay, I think it's Bob Moore is the next one. Let's go to him.
Time. We're in a very optimistic mode. I wouldn't say they were giddy so much as just hopeful that if they got the right leak or the right document, that they just might be able to smash the wall of secrecy. Then what happens? Then we get entrance into the field by individuals who start leaking documents of dubious origin, whose provenance was basically unknown, that cause now 25 years worth of dissension in the research field. And it's the same within the mainstream media. Serious media never in their news coverage truly seriously promoted the extraterrestrial hypothesis. What they did do is move that to the realm of entertainment. Anytime someone brings up such ideas seriously, what you find is the serious media says, well, you've been watching too many movies. So in a sense, you could argue that the movies are used to inoculate the public against these truths.
No, the movies are used to condition the population to eventually accept the faking alien narrative. Let's move ahead to Bob Moore.
He knew, and who he knew. Bill was a little reluctant to disclose everything to me for obvious reasons. Here I am, a government agent, coming in and introducing myself and wanting to know what he knew. But there's techniques that we use, that we're trained to use in gaining that person's confidence. And I used those techniques against Bill Moore, and they worked. And Bill...
Excuse me, I said Bob Moore. I meant to say Bill Moore.
Moore took me into his confidence, and we had a professional relationship as far as him providing us information.
So notice, same model that they did with Paul Benowitz, gained his trust, get in good with him, and then they're going to use him.
About the UFO community, and agreeing to say things that we wanted said regarding the UFO community or within the UFO community.
The process of studying this phenomenon and the people involved with it, of assessing the claims and the counterclaims, and of dealing with the question of how we as Earthlings will react to the discovery of a race of extraterrestrial visitors and how they will react to us.
So notice, here's their disinformation op guy again in the 80s. This might 70s or 80s, I forget when this is. Bill Moore, who wrote several books, and Richard Doty saying, I worked directly with this guy to put disinformation out. And they just said the disclosure of alien life, right? So they were planning this for many, many, many decades again.
All of this and more, when finally looked at in perspective, leads us to the inescapable recognition that in studying the UFO phenomenon, we are at the same time becoming more aware of ourselves as individuals.
Moore was singled out because he had achieved considerable celebrity within the UFO field and a certain authenticity that would recommend him to politicians and journalists.
So notice, they found the guy that was already a celebrity in MUFON NICAP circles. That's the Mutual UFO Network and National. It's just fake and gay alien bullshit groups that were made up to disseminate disinformation, right? So these guys are chosen, they're profiled, and they're going to mention that later, that they have a certain profile of people who are narcissistic, who believe that they're chosen special people to be emissaries and all this nonsense.
And remember, it's the politicians and the journalists who are the ultimate target of all of this disinformation.
I went to visit Bill. He had a bad back. He was lying flat in his back. He couldn't move. He was like in traction. And I remember him very dramatically saying to me, aliens do exist. UFOs are real. I know that now for a fact. Just seems kind of almost like a bad science fiction movie. But
now here's the Star Trek Next Generation consultant producer guy.
That's kind of what was going on at the time. He was very invested in maintaining these contacts that he had supposedly inside the government. At one point, Bill Moore had played me an early tape recording of a conversation he had with Doty, and Moore was telling me, this is a huge breakthrough, and this guy's like on the inside, and he's going to give a lot of stuff away. And I just remember even back then that I was kind of suspicious, that it just sounded a little too good to be true. But I was kind of curious as to why somebody who supposedly was in Air Force intelligence was speaking so openly about some of these incredible things.
William Moore was using his position as an executive of an outfit that was called the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization. And in fact, Moore admitted that he paid off the secretary of that organization to send him reports at once when they came in, and they went directly to Doty.
Bill didn't believe everything I was telling him. And obviously, he's a very smart person, and a lot of the information I was telling him wasn't factual.
If you were a UFO researcher and you were offered documents that nobody had ever seen that pointed the way to what the government might know about UFOs, and in exchange you basically had to report on what people were thinking, what rumors were making the rounds, that's what he was offered. In exchange, he was offered something that nobody else had gotten up to that point. Pure, unadulterated information that would lead him to the center of the answer, the answer to the question, what does the government know, and are there actually some sort of non-human...
Now keep in mind too, this shows you that for decades, this has been a very sophisticated psychological operation, choosing dupes and dummies and retards to be the mouthpieces of specific narratives that they want, such as the aliens are here, they're among us, we have to make a pact with them, they're coming to establish a new world order, we got to have a disarmament. All the same patterns always pop up.
Intelligence is interacting with the human race.
Moore later was part of the series of break-ins into the Benowitz house and the psychological warfare program. Again, self-admitted by Moore.
He admits he's part of a psychological warfare program.
Moore was not working alone. Others, I'm convinced, went for the same deal, and the deal was very simple. You cooperate with us, and we will give you the information that the U.S. government has deep down in those vaults. Now, this is the Faustian bargain that William Moore went for, and he came up short on it.
Look at all the UFO cons. It's all boomers, dude. That's all boomers. There's nobody at UFO cons that's not just freaking goober boomer.
It became apparent to me that
it really is boomer slop, right? I mean, it's even perhaps more boomer sloppy than JFK.
Supplying information to the government through Doty on the activities of Paul Benowitz, APRO, and to a lesser extent several other individuals was to be a part of this equation. I also discovered that whatever it was that Benowitz was involved with, he was the subject of considerable interest on the part of not one, but several government agencies, and that they were actively trying to defuse him by pumping as much disinformation through him as he could possibly absorb. Being a very small part of that process gave me, I thought, something of an advantage. It became my intention to play that advantage for all the information I could get out of it. Benowitz, for his part...
Frankly, I'm a little ashamed of some people in this audience, regardless of what you believe, what you hear, or not.
They had to stop the talk about 4 or 5 times just because of all the yelling. People got mad, ran out of there. I saw a woman start crying and leave. People kept saying, "Where'd you get that crap from, Bill?" And one guy said, "I'm going to get a fire hose," and ran out the back. Very
boomers getting mad. Don't touch my UFO conspiracy theory. How dare you touch my... Get your hands off my alien conspiracy, damn you. How dare you?
Mythology, UFO mythology.
Moore's book was well received and, in my opinion, well done research, but very troubling because the thesis was that Roswell was a real spaceship that crashed and that the U.S. government has the parts.
So here you go. Bill Moore puts out his book that Roswell was real, but it's admittedly the disinformation campaign that Richard Doty has crafted with him.
I believe that he was singled out precisely to ultimately discredit him and Roswell, to keep the press and the politicians off of Roswell.
July 8, 1940.
No, he's there to actually prop up the conspiracy that Roswell was a actual crash craft.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
The key thing to remember about the alleged crash of a UFO at Roswell in 1947 is that by the time of Paul Benowitz's involvement in the UFO field, it had been entirely forgotten by the UFO community. And it was only with the publication in 1980 of the Roswell incident by William Moore and Charles Burley.
There it is. That's Roswell. When you go to Roswell, that's all it is. It's just like a little bitty small town, and the downtown is nothing but that.
That the elements of the Roswell story, the crashed spacecraft, the recovered alien bodies, the pact between the American government and the extraterrestrials to back-engineer their technology, all of these things.
And then when you go to Roswell, there's giant Air Force billboards to join the Air Force.
Have eventually become the core story of the American UFO mythology.
their craft crashed somewhere after coming all these 50 light years. They crashed, and then they sent another one that crashed again, and sent another one that crashed. There were about 9 crashes in the Southwest in the late 40s, and that would indicate to me, or at least suggest to me, that we were testing something that was crashing.
Duh.
Roswell happened. 2 crashes, one in Roswell, one in West. They didn't find a craft for a couple years. It was all one crash, but they took them a couple years to find a second crash site.
Things are getting weird, man.
Now, Doty played a massive role in the perpetuation of the Roswell myth, many of the ideas prominent in the UFO subculture for 2 decades, and it was completely avoided. Rick Doty is certainly a fascinating character and clearly a trickster.
A man who probably has trouble figuring out whether he's lying or not these days.
It would not surprise me if people were selected to sow disinformation. It would also not surprise me if some of the people were selected because they were not very bright.
Duh. Of course. I mean, Doty just said that. Terry 77 for $20. Jay, Among the Ruins is a great book. You got to get Duffy's Saints and Sinners and Popes. Okay, I'm going to get that. That's on I just got the Williams book, so they're on sale. You can also read Rise and Fall of Christian Ireland, proves orthodoxy and monastery and high cross. Okay, so orthodoxy was operant in Ireland. Exactly. Rui, $20. Thank you so much. Mr. Awake says for $10. Jay, this is Owl Killer. I shouted you out for bringing me to orthodoxy last week. You were in the room and he took calls. I'm blocked on YouTube for some reason. My YouTube is Mr. Awake. Can you unblock me? Okay. Timothy Martinson, $5. Emperor of Exantium is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Listen, I told you guys I'm on BIPOC time, and that means that it's about 2 hours past whenever I say. So essentially, BIPOC Central Time just counted as about 2 hours after. Seth says for $5, me and my goatee are enjoying my Creed mixtape. With arms wide open, under the moonlight. Welcome to this place. I'll make you super gay. With arms wide open.
Lacked certain critical judgment, but were very energetic in putting out certain messages. And I do often think that some of the people in the government agencies who have been involved in the UFO field were kind of pushed or nudged in that direction. They just go into the field and muck it up automatically by themselves without any external controls.
Look at that, dude. Not a single person under age 60 at the UFO conference. Watch this.
They can putting out certain messages. And I do often think that some of the people in the government agencies who have been involved in the UFO field were kind of
boomer slop, dude. It's literal boomer slop.
Pushed or nudged in that direction. They just go into the field and muck it up automatically by themselves without any external controls.
And then Richard Doty sitting there amongst the boomers, amongst a field of dumb cattle boomers.
Rick is not the man you're after. It's the person in the control position that's important here. In my opinion, he was simply a pawn in a much larger game, just as I was.
Now, find me one person under 60 in this crowd. There's more chins than there are people.
Game, just as I was. What we are hearing today about malevolent aliens, underground bases, secret treaties with the U.S. government, has its roots firmly planted in the Benowitz affair.
Oh, so now Bill Moore is admitting that the whole alien narrative has its roots firmly planted in a psyop.
I was in a position to observe much of this process as it unfolded, and I was providing regular reports on its effectiveness to some of the very people who were doing it to Paul.
There wasn't a whole lot that we did. There was just a simple, really, really simple nod and statement to Paul that what he was seeing was probably UFOs.
It's generally assumed that the counterintelligence operation conducted against Paul Benowitz was designed to throw him off the scent of some kind of classified experimental technology that he was accidentally filming over Kirtland Air Force Base. But when you stop to think about it, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If the Kirtland base personnel really had wanted him to stop his investigations, they could have ordered him to do so.
Yeah, they could have just said, we're going to throw you in a military prison for the rest of your life if you don't stop filming it. But he was part of a much larger operation to foster the alien nonsense and mythology by design.
So, instead, they encouraged him to continue his research and indeed facilitated his growing delusions about an extraterrestrial invasion. What this suggests is that rather than a campaign directed against Paul Benowitz, this was an information war on the American UFO community. And
yeah, absolutely. To use them for disinformation and dissemination of the nonsense that we are absolutely seeing today. There's no better documentary to watch, given what we've seen, the nonsense in the news today, than Mirage Men.
Number of reasons why Air Force intelligence might have wanted to use Benowitz as a conduit for disinformation. The ufologists were constantly seeking evidence for the extraterrestrial conspiracy and the UFO cover-up. They were digging through documents, they were hanging around secret air bases, and quite likely stumbling upon genuine military secrets. And a more serious possibility was that Soviet intelligence agents may have been infiltrating the UFO field in order to extract this kind of information about new...
Right. So, in other words, the Soviets, the assumption is here, understood that it's not about faking aliens. It's actually about the technology that the military is working on at these various bases. And so there could conceivably then be amongst the UFO community Soviets who want to then spy and then see what the actual tech is. Nothing to do with aliens, because the alien part is a smokescreen.
Technologies. I think it's no coincidence that the timing of the operation against Paul Benowitz dovetails with the development of the stealth program. And at the time, this was the absolute...
And lo and behold, what does that object look like? Why, it just happens to look like the triangle craft that people claim to see. Now, we know that the stealth bomber goes really fast, but perhaps they have developed stealth drones that don't just go fast. Perhaps they also levitate and sit still.
Pinnacle of global aviation technology. And that's exactly the sort of thing that Soviet agents would be looking for.
If you guys are doing a film, I do not want to do an interview in a film in which you're going to try to communicate that there's nothing to the UFOs, that advanced technology...
So Angry Boomer Lady here, who's a disinformation outlet, does not want to be in a film debunking.
...is being used to cover... I mean, then all you're doing is...
That's not what we're doing.
It's just playing into the government absolutely what they want people to do.
Yeah, the government wants people to not believe in alien, transhumanist, faking alien stuff.
That's absolutely not what we're doing.
People trying to put out documentaries on UFOs seem to be teased over and over and then have the rug pulled out from under them at the last minute. In the late 70s, a rumor started circulating that there was a film of a UFO landing at Holloman Air Force.
This is it. This is the Star Trek The Next Generation guy saying that they put together this production for the Air Force.
Base in New Mexico, and apparently UFO came and landed at the Air Force Base on the tarmac. A group of people went up to meet him. There was some sort of exchange of information. Then the alien got back in his ship and took off.
I have wondered that film, I think as many people have wondered, was an abortive attempt at some kind of disclosure.
We began...
Yeah, so they even asked that guy right there, was it an attempt at disclosure? He's like, yeah, I think it was disclosure. And now here the guy who filmed it is going to admit that it's fake.
And with an invitation, and met with Paul Shartle, who was head of security for the depository. That's where all the films from the military are sent, all out at Norton. We talked about possible programs such as three-dimensional moving holography, atomic fission, a dog program where they trained shepherds to do reconnaissance, and a lot of laser work at Wright-Patterson. Then he said, I want you to come with me into the studio. When we went into a studio, which was a clean room, he said, what would you think if we told you that in the early 70s there was a landing of an alien craft?
Dude, look on his wall. He's got a poster for Franzia. This is predictive wine mom programming. You just saw that wine mom losing her shit because she thought this documentary was going to debunk everything. She was having a Franzia rage moment. And look at that predictive Franzia programming in the background.
At Holloman Air Force Base, and our TDY, temporary duty guys, had filmed it. And I was just sort of scratching my head thinking...
Here you go. They filmed it right there. Let's listen to what he says.
That in the early 70s, there was a landing of an alien craft at Holloman Air Force Base, and our TDY, temporary duty guys, had filmed it. And I was just sort of scratching my head thinking, UFOs? What are we talking about? So he said, look, if you're interested, you should bury that under the other projects, because a UFO sends up a red flag. So he said, if you're interested, go talk to Captain somebody, and he'll start a liaison with the Pentagon, which we did. I was told that there was footage, and that was sort of like a carrot. You know, you'll be provided with a film that we have 900 feet of ectochrome.
So they're telling this guy they had 900 feet of film footage of a craft landing.
And off we began our project. We had a legal contract with the Pentagon and an agreement on everything that we were going to be doing and their total cooperation. They fulfilled every one of our requests. They vetted our information, gave sanction to it. They really did not influence the content at all. I was quite surprised. Even the people at Holloman did not say, what are you doing? What are you talking about? They seemed to confirm that something had happened. And the film was not forthcoming, but I knew where it was and what it was, and was told by one of the people we worked with that it was confiscated at the last minute because it didn't seem appropriate. So we ended up having to go to animation. But everything else was documented as I recall it happening. It was a daylight shot of a light ascending on Holloman Air Force Base. And then with that little clip, that's all that I can tell you that was genuine. A landing of a craft at Holloman, it was film, very brief. That's all, I can tell you it's genuine.
Just that snippet? So.
Just a light coming down from...
Yeah, but it's not aliens.
Above. It was very not that distinguishable. It was just among other footage. That's all I can tell you.
And just to sound camera, you never saw the Holloman landing footage yourself?
Not really.
Okay. Can you elaborate? Can we just wait for that car?
Saved by the car. I'm trying to think how to answer that. I knew what the film was about, all the details of it, but I never saw a real projected version.
Is there a still of it?
Yes.
What is your bottom line, beginning, middle, and end?
Our bottom line is that there is a UFO phenomenon that's genuine and needs to be studied and taken seriously, and that one of the things that makes that difficult is the muddying of the waters by...
Look at her blinking open eyes, dude. Psycho boomer, dude. Franzia rage kicking in right now.
People like Rick Doty, Walter Bosley, and others who are working for FBI, OSI, whoever else they're working for, CIA, NSA, and that they're making the work of people like yourself and us and others who want to understand what's really going on very, very difficult.
Okay, and thank you for your attention. We're ready to roll here in just momentarily.
If you believe it's true, you have to buy in to this phantasmagorical, conspiratorial, bizarre, nonsensical, ridiculous story. And when I sat down with Rick, his response to me is, it's really all true.
He was scary. Rick's great strength is he's a wonderful storyteller. He's a very friendly guy. He builds relationships easily. My immediate instinct is to trust him.
I saw it. It was a humanoid.
That, by the way, was the Project Camelot guy right there.
To this phantasmagorical, conspiratorial, bizarre, nonsensical, ridiculous story. And when I sat down with Rick, his response to me is, it's really all true.
He was scary. Rick's great strength is he's a wonderful storyteller. He's a very friendly guy. He
Right
builds
here.
relationships easily. My immediate instinct.
That's the Project Camelot goofball. The boomer goober disinformation outlet with Carrie Cassidy. And that matters because this is where Candace got her 2012 CIA alien technology story. She actually gets this from Bill What's-His-Face from Project Camelot, right? This guy. And their whole channel is nothing but the most retarded new age alien bullshit nonsense. And that's where she gets the story of the 2012 Sumerian technology.
It's trusted.
I saw it. It was a humanoid, not a human.
And he just said that Bill Camelot, the Project Camelot guy, just said, my instinct is to trust Richard Doty, the guy who's literally the disseminator of disinformation on a record.
I think it's very easy to mislead people in the UFO community. You get them going down a certain trail, you give them certain leads, and you just watch people chase their tails over and over again looking for the truth.
Yep.
I was living and working in New York when Linda Howe actually came and stayed with me for a few days, and it was right in the midst of her working on this HBO project. Linda sort of was, I believe, on the track at the time of thinking that this was the film that was going to, again, expose everything. And I believe she was in touch with Doty at the time. I think, in fact, she had even gone to meet him face to face. And that was very curious to me because I'd known about this guy through Bill, Bill Moore. And so I thought, now he's kind of hooking Linda in the same way.
Doty says that he has names of people who are witnesses.
Amazingly, they're even saying that Linda Moulton Howe was being given disinformation as they are interviewing her in the documentary, admitting that she's given all disinformation and that she was duped. And she's still in the documentary doing it, and she's mad about it.
A security guard has a gun melted in his hand. There's a disc, beings. I want to investigate that story.
The original plan, Linda Howe, was to obtain everything she knew, as much information she knew, and try to find out what she was going to air in this documentary to HBO and whether we wanted it aired or not. So I drove her out to Kirtland, to the OSI office. I took her into a special room. I told her it was the commander's office, which wasn't really necessarily true.
So they took Linda Moulton Howe into the commander military office. I think this is what they're going to show her, the VHS, the fake VHS.
The first thing that shifted this from being what I thought was going to be a 5-minute meeting, get these names and addresses and phone numbers and go on, because I had already set up other things to do. That documentary that you did broadsided the government. How do you mean?
Yeah. So, in other words, Richard Doty told Linda Moulton Howe that your documentary has shaken the government. And of course, she believes this because she thinks she's this really important chosen one to disseminate the truth about UFOs, right? So she buys into all this bullshit.
Nobody ever expected that a credible journalist would ever take on the animal mutilation story. It was like something was shifting in the air. Where is this going? What is happening here? He never gave me a list of names, phone numbers. Instead, he said, my superiors have asked me to show you something. Pulled out this manila envelope, pulled out these pages, and as he's handing them to me, he says, you can read these. You cannot take notes. You can ask me questions, but I want you to move from the chair you're sitting in to that chair.
Everything that was done there was being filmed by other agents in another room. It was a two-way mirror.
And I'm looking at the top page, and it's all caps, briefing paper for the President of the United States of America on unidentified aerial vehicles. And I'm trying to read what is the most remarkable series of letters in words that probably has ever been handed to me, because this...
Yeah, but they're all fake, Linda. So give up the Franzia, give up the nonsense and the scammery. It's all bullshit.
Was new. I was innocent. And it started out about all these places that the government of the United States had retrieved discs that were identified as extraterrestrial. I knew some names, like Roswell. There was Aztec, Magdalena, south of Laredo, and down in Arizona. There were... My mind was kind of reeling at how many...
It's kind of amazing, right? As everybody's talking about in the chat, like the level of boomer just acceptance of whatever they're told, like the most just silly, ridiculous narratives. And it's just like, absolutely, yeah. It came from an authority figure. It's got to be true, right? It's just kind of wild.
Places this is saying, because all of us had only heard of Roswell, really. And eventually it came to paragraphs that are as indelibly emblazoned in my mind sitting here today as they were then. And the one that probably is the one worth sharing for all of this. These extraterrestrials manipulated DNA in already evolving primates to create Homo sapiens.
So here she believes the panspermia myth, that the aliens are farming us and that they're manipulating our DNA. It's, by the way, the same bullshit that Richard Dawkins talks about too.
And I remember reading that sentence over several times, trying to absorb the implication of its meaning. Because if Homo sapien is a genetically constructed species by extraterrestrials, we are then, by definition, a planet of 6.5 billion androids.
Whoa, boomer mind blown. The boomer mind matrix is melting. Codis says for $10, Jay, thanks for what you do. I attended liturgy. No, we read that the other day, excuse me. ZK Niffin, $5. Pastor James Manning clip is on his X, Dr. James Manning. Prayer of a Righteous Man, May 4th. Okay, we'll find that in a second here. Why is this Dr. James D. Manning? Okay, I missed that. That's why. May 4th. Okay. We've been sent 2 super chats that we got to watch this, so we're going to do it. We finally found it. All right, here we go.
God Almighty, your name is Jesus. You are King of Kings. You are Lord of Lords. You're the Almighty God, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, and the ever-present God. I ask you, as your humble servant, I ask you, as one anointed with the anointing of David and with the power and the spirit of the Holy Ghost, please, Lord, quickly eviscerate every black politician, those that are even lying in the hospital on their sick bed dying, or those that are dying of a term.
All right, you trying to get me cut off of here. I can't play if he's saying this kind of nonsense. I mean, that's funny, but no, we can't play that, dude. Zet says for $5, I swear the creepy music in the documentaries is partly what convinces people. Yeah, partly, yeah. Do you believe Bob Lazar's story? Of course not, dude. The whole purpose of the documentary is saying that Bob Lazar is another Bill Moore, another Benowitz, another Linda Moulton Howe.
If we are androids, what purpose are we serving? All of that hit me reading that sentence. Then on the last page, paragraph, 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 Project Garnet, all caps. All questions and mysteries about the evolution of Homo sapien on this planet have been answered and this project is closed.
The documents that I showed her came from our special office in Washington with
So he's saying I gave her a bunch of fake ass bullshit documents and she believes it.
the operational plan and what I was supposed to do and the plans to show her these. Well, I'd read them before. I mean, I knew what was in them, and I read them, and I realized that some of the information contained in there was real. But then I realized that you have to give real information in order for a person to think you're credible. So I knew what was in there, and I gave them to her, and it was sanctioned. I did what I was told to do.
When you look back at it, they must have had meetings about how do we stop a persistent and dogged reporter who has already demonstrated that she's going to go after a really, really difficult subject. How do we?
This one mom ain't stopping. She's a bloodhound, dog. And you feed her a little bit of that box wine and a doggy bowl out of the Franzia box, and she's on the prowl. She's on the hunt. Oh, Groove Monster says for $20. Let's not forget that the Rockefeller-funded Institute for Government Research, the IGR, was actually eventually transformed into Brookings Institute. This is actually on page 142 of the Collier and Horowitz biography. Oh, great point there. Great point. Yeah. As with so many of the big think tanks and foundations, they are directly connected to the Rockefellers and the JP Morgan interests pretty consistently in American history. Tingu is winning the super chats tonight. Wow, he sends $100 and he says, they will say that Jay Dyer is mean, but they will never say Jay Dyer wrong. Happy Friday, everyone. Props to Tingu for that big fat super chat. Appreciate that, dog. Mr. Freeze, nice to see you. He says that photo was from a 1950s hoax. Oh, we read that one earlier. Hooked on Antiphonics, $10. You mentioned Mick West. I don't know who Mick West is. It just popped up on Twitter. When you get a chance, check out his channel. He's an optical engineer, video gamer, programmer, debunking UFO videos. Oh, cool. He woke many people up to the military pilots also conceding to his points. Oh, cool. Well, he sounds like he's on the right track. So we would like Mick West. Kyle Gordon, $5. It's a for real UFO, y'all. Oh, you talking about the sisters, right? Remember that video of them sisters? And they see a light pole. Let's see, black girls. And a UFO. It's a UFO, bitch. It's a UFO, bitch. That's the best. That's the best of them. They need to drop that video into the files of them black chicks. It's a UFO, bitch. Oh, come on now. Where's that one at? That's the best one. Okay, you sent me that. All right, I'll have to open up Streamlabs the back door to access the. Let me find it. It's a UFO, bitch. Nah, bitch. Look, ho. Nah, ho. That's a UFO, ho. Nah, ho. That's a UFO, bitch. That's one of my favorite clips. I forgot about that one. That's got to be what you're linking me to, right? Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. It's a UFO for real. And Kyle Golden sent that one twice. Shout out to Kyle for that. Yeah, here it is. Let's see if this is it. It's got to be it. It's a UFO for real, though. Nah, bitch.
We in the field. Two-piece, it's a UFO for real. Look at the UFO. No, we not making this shit up. Look at it. Nah, bitch. It's a UFO for real, y'all. That is crazy. Y'all, that's crazy. It's a UFO for real, y'all. We in the field. Two-piece, it's a UFO for real. Look at the UFO. No, we not making this shit up.
It's a UFO, man. That's the best part. Why would they censor that?
Stopper. When you look back, it all makes sense.
She wanted me to tell her things that I couldn't tell her. And at one point, then she went public with my name, and she did what Paul Benowitz and Bill Moore didn't do. She publicized the fact that she had she was deceived by a government agent.
So we got a super chat. Have you played Portal from Storm the Cat? Actually, no. I've heard it's fun, but also never played it. Also, I've been playing the sequel to Days of Light, the zombie game. I've been playing Days of Light Beast, the zombie game. Tip Labs. No, we did that. Richard, $10. What do you think of UAP GERB? I don't know what that is. UAP GERB. I'm afraid to look that up. It sounds like it's going to be something dirty. Jason Tammy sends $20. Thank you. Dude's got a normal name and then a single mom stripper name. Jason Tammy. Trey says for $2. MSW Fighting Blue Monday. MSW Fighting Blue Monday for the top spot in the remixes. Pulp, $9. Yes, dear, this is the man that led me to Christ. Hey, we ain't making no apologies, son. Ortho Cards, $5. The alien that Uncle Sam sent to twerk for you was actually born in Romania with a very plump booty. Anthony says for $10. Is he a pastor? Okay, we did that one. Banana up the butt, $5. Everybody should look at the Paul Benowitz story. That's exactly why we're doing this. And thus you can see how they fed him disinformation and encouraged the entire UFO BS. Exactly. Jason Tammy over here sending another $20. Alter Void, $5. If they have spaceship, how is it still UFO? Noah Charles, $10. The funny thing is that disclosure literally discloses nothing, but every third normie that you run into is going to be like, the government said there's aliens. Exactly. X-Lopstep, we was leprechaun slayers. David says for $10, what if Tiny Mustache Man aliens are coming to save Trump and our people by taking us to a new Atlantis to meet Father Yakub, a.k.a. that's Agartha. That's where Wigzantium is. Pepper Profit, $5. Can you write a letter recommendation so I could get into BNU? Yes. Me and Captain Crackrot will both sign off on it. Orbs are launching on page 17 of the UFO files. That's not a Mossad agent says the Orbs is launching. Lockstep says for $5. Government officials are trying to figure out if the government is hiding government secrets from its own government. And then the government's lying about it. Play the Alex interdimensional vampire clip. I don't know if I can get away with a whole lot of Alex over here. Layman, $10. Jay, you are clowning on all this stuff, but it's actually some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. First, gay space brothers from space, and now you're playing the hood classic leprechauns. I'm dying, dude. Good. You need to be dying laughing. Because this shit is real, bro. This shit is so real and hardcore, all these aliens and stuff, that the only way to handle it is to laugh. Andrew, are Roman Catholic miracles compatible with Orthodoxy? I don't know. I mean, if you mean by compatible, could we admit that there's a miracle outside the church? Sure. Does that prove Orthodoxy? Or does it prove Rome? I mean, if there's a miracle outside the church, it's in spite of being Roman Catholic, not because of being Roman Catholic. Amber says that Floby commercial deserves to be acknowledged. Exactly. That's why we had to go back to the 90s. Man, my allergies are going crazy. I can't stop itching my nose, bro. My eyes are watering. B. Curse says for $5. We was alien kangs before alien got racist, and we was running them. Thanks for all that you do. Exactly. This is a man who understands things. Kevin Russ, $5. I saw an object in 2009. It did a zigzag, and then it disappeared, and then I saw a cigar. Maybe you was just seeing the war room, and you saw a giant Andrew Tate up there with a cigar. With a Bugatti. Alien Bugatti. It never struck me that these are objects that we might be able to make. David says for $10, man, this is allergy insanity right now. I'm basically over here weeping, dude. I'm like Jimmy Carter hearing about aliens and his peanut farm, weeping, just freaking weeping, bro. David says Jimmy Carter cried because aliens got an onion butt for a head. Fox says, I painted some things for Tsoukalos. Dude was a massive jerk, but he dressed like a diva. Are you saying he isn't a diva? He just dresses like one? Faradin says for $5, what do you think about Ashton Forb? He is live right now. He's talking about plasma or I just think all that stuff is just speculative. So, and I don't think the MH plane crash was some warp technology. I don't believe any of that. Flu's $2. Did you listen to J.R. Rogan and Bob Lazar? Yes. I did a whole 2-hour live stream 7 years ago on Joe Rogan talking to Bob Lazar. Dwusa says, you and Charles Carroll should do a stream. Do it on Drowned God. It's a 90s video game about CIA, religion, world religions, and aliens. Charles loves it. I've never even heard of that. That sounds cool, though. I haven't chatted with Charles in a bit, so we do need to do something. Adam says for $5, have you heard of the schizo whistleblower Matthew Brown? I have not. He says John D. style Enochian magic summons orbs. Oh, that sounds crazy. Gaultier, $5. J Big Fan, are you taking calls tonight? I'm not. Not in the mood for calls. I'm just in the mood to bark orders at all of y'all, like Richard Doty doing to these wine moms. Also, we're forgetting the possible. Maybe Richard Doty was just trying to get some of that Linda Moulton Howe booty on the side. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was just trying to mac on her. He was trying to fill her full of Franzia to get a little bit of third base. I have questions. I will be holding them back. The questions are, oh, man, my eyes are just watering. I'm just weeping, dude. It would seem like I'm weeping. Gaultier says that there's questions that are holding him back from converting up. Don't worry, dude. We do open calls all the time. So every few days there's an open call. So just wait for that. Redbeard, $5. Thank you for defending things in the faith. I'm being baptized this month in the Orthodox Church. I heard you were once here in Evansville to speak. I didn't speak there, but I came and hung out with Father Daniel. But that's great, man. That's good to hear. Many years to you. Mark says $2.79. Nothing. Alan says for $20. This that cheap as hell collab. Utah with the Shia tonight. Mormon Shamoon. Sam Shamorman. Utah with the Shia tonight. I like it. That's a remix. Pooh Stain Pete, $20. Why come none of this can debunk Yakub? Tell me that. Exactly. All of this debunking doesn't do anything but prove Yakub.
Agency, namely OSI. And although there were many other people involved in the operation, she named my name, and so then I became a public figure. We actually played a trick on Linda that kind of paid her back, so to speak. Not anything that harmed her in any way or anything like that, but we kind of planted something that she ran with, which wasn't factual, and I think she realized that maybe she should keep her mouth shut after that.
The forged documents shown to Linda Moulton Howe by Richard Doty would form the basis for the Majestic 12 papers, which expanded upon the story of the Roswell UFO crash and provided the foundations for the future UFO mythology in America. And over
Did you hear that? MJ12. So Doty was just pulling from MJ12 mythology.
3 decades later, these documents are still dividing the international UFO community.
Before, it had always been inferred that a cover-up was underway. There was talk about who was involved and so forth, but there was never any paperwork. Here's the paperwork.
A package showed up at the home of Jamie Chandere, who was Bill's sort of writing and research partner. What it contained was a canister of 35mm film. They developed it, and what was on it was photographs of this document saying that there was a group that had been controlling UFO information, how it was released to the public, and how the government should deal with it.
Regarding the MJ12 documents that were released to Jamie Chandere or Bill Moore, I had absolutely nothing to do with that.
By the way, here is, since you asked, here is my podcast I did almost 7 years ago on Bob Lazar. I'll put it in the chat right here if you want to listen to that. Because Bob Lazar is the new Bill Moore, Paul Benowitz, Linda Moulton Howe. He's the 100% exact same copy-paste model. 100%. 100%. 1,000%. Right? Sam Tripoli would be like, 100%. And then Jamie Kennedy be like, 1,000%. Well, there you go right here, dude. Here's 1,000,000%. Remember this song? You know, I forgot this old video that Amid the Ruins put together when he made this me and Sam Hyde song. I forgot that it includes a clip of Shia LaBeouf getting trolled at that performance thing where he was chanting, "He will not divide us. He will not divide us." Do you remember that? And I forget who this guy is that trolled him. This guy here in the glasses. Can't think of this guy's name. And then here's where I gotta say, never mind, it was a different guy. It was this guy. Ironic too, because Shia LaBeouf is kind of a little more beige and trad now, isn't he? Whoa, dude. Check out that old school thing. Damn, son. I was being a black preacher asking for all your money. Give me all your money. Give me all your money. That old closet library back there I had. Dang, dude. That's old school. And by the way, that's my vintage Deadmau5 shirt. And I've lost it. I love that shirt and I can't find it. I want it back because it's like 20 years old. By the way, I couldn't resist listening to the weaponized Tism song. That's a classic Amid the Ruins track there. Anyway, but that's the opening for the Bob Laser episode. If you come to the Alamo Draft House in Lakeline, outside of Austin, the Alamo Draft House in. So we were doing a event. I forgot that we were doing an Austin event. All right, let's go back to this. We're almost done with this.
Document could be real, and because of the nature of it, it made a perfect perception management device. People have to realize that these things may not be to cover up the truth about flying saucers. It may be more to gather information about how the public responds to manipulation.
There we go. A great point right there. This is even beyond just getting disinfo out. It's also figuring out how successful the alien bullshit narrative is. Are they buying it? Are the goobers buying the bull crap? Octavian says for $10, here's some tissues. Dude, I don't need tissues. Guess what I got? I got embroidered old man snot rag. You know, like an old man's always got a snot rag he pulls out of his pants. I got one now. And it's got a J on it. I got my own snot rag, dog. I don't need no freaking Kleenexes. Dude, I leveled up beyond Kleenex. Kleenex is for pores. I know a lot of y'all pores use Kleenex. I use cotton embroidered old man snot rag with a J. It's got a J on it. It really does. I'm not joking too. Look, you want to see it? You think I'm lying to you? He always lying. He lying right now. He lying. No, I'm gonna show you the J right now. Look at that right there. That's a J, dude. Embroidered old man snot rag with a J right there, dude. Boom. So then when people find my snot rag, oh, that's Jay's. Give it back to him. Do not take that.
When I print off the sum total of all of those documents, you get a stack about this thick. When you read them through, as one day I decided this is what I'm going to do, it's very impressive. To have faked it would have required a team, a high-level team of very, very expert individuals who know everything about document creation.
Yeah, there's plenty of people in the CIA who do document creation and can fake stuff, dude. Come on.
There were some investigations conducted by FBI, OSI, regarding the MJ-12 documents, extensive investigations, just to determine whether these things were legitimate, whether they contained classified information, and then who released them. I was interviewed as a suspect, did I do these, but it was proven that I didn't do them. But somebody outside the government created it. And in that particular instance, I don't know if the government would prosecute them. Doing that would lend credence to the document itself, and then they would have to disclose the information. So the best thing to do is just say, we ended the investigation and not tell anybody what the outcome was.
I like to think of UFOs as weapons of mass deception, and the role of the intelligence organizations and the military in propagating the UFO mythology as somewhat analogous to what evolutionary biologists call a punctuated equilibrium.
Yeah, man, it's like the aliens seeded us, bro, and they're like, they're gonna take us to the next level of consciousness, man, if we, like, figure out how to disarm everybody and depopulate, then, like, then we won't destroy each other, bro. It's like, we all gotta come together because everything is one.
Octavian, $10. No, we did that. He said, that's amazing. Tier, $5. Great kings, great bishops, great players, people of the touch but persuasion. Great kings, great bishops, great players, people of the touch but persuasion. Tingu says, for $50. Jay, you don't have to lie. We all know that the sniffing isn't allergies. It's because on Friday night you will cry over Mother Mary. Do you cry over Mother Mary on Friday night? Exactly. Tingu figured it all out. Lil Natty, $5. Jay, I just went to my first Vesters. I just went to my first Vesper. You talking about Vesper Land? Woo! Woo! Vesper Land. Why are you trying to go to Vesper Land, dude? She a femme fatale, bro. She gonna mess you up. Dude trying to get Mac on James Bond girls. You making a mistake, bro. She about to femme fatale your ass. You know what I'm talking about? Vesper Lynn? You talking about Vesper? You about to get assassinated, dog. You can't trust no Vesper. She all about the money, dog. She about getting paid, son. You getting used. I'm just kidding, by the way. Shout out to you for going to Vespers. By the way, who is the prettiest of the Bond girls? I'm going to have to say it might be Ava Green. She might be the prettiest of the Bond girls. Just my opinion. By the way, I know I'm married, but there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is a beautiful person. Who is the hottest of the Bond girls? I'm going to say Vesper Lynn. Seriously, like nobody's hotter amongst the Bond girls than Ava Green. Come on now. Be honest. Be honest. It's not Halle Berry. It's not Halle Berry. It's not none of them 50s women. Oh, Monica Bellucci. Oh, I forgot. Well, they didn't put her in as a Bond girl until she was like, she's still attractive as an older woman, but I don't know, dude. I mean, are you saying if it was a younger Monica Bellucci versus Ava Green? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I know who Monica. Look up Monica Bellucci. She's like the most famous, beautiful woman in the world. Like, obviously, I know who Monica Bellucci is. I think Ava Green is up there though. Anna de Armas. Scarlett Johansson wasn't a Bond girl. What are you talking about? Domino and Thunderball. Actually, that woman in what's the one in the Roger Moore one with the voodoo? She was like the prettiest woman in the world at that time. I forget that woman's name. But now Ava Green is way prettier than Famke Janssen. I had a crush on Famke Janssen in the 90s, but no, Ava Green beats her. Judi Dench is the hottest of the Bond girls. That was a good one, dude. Yeah, Jane Seymour in Live and Let Die, she was like the hottest woman of the 70s. But I don't think Jane Seymour can hold a candle to Ava Green, dude. Denise Richards, she might be the prettiest of the 90s Bond girls. It's either Famke or Denise in the 90s. She's definitely prettier. Olga Kurylenko is definitely pretty. But I still think, yeah, Leah Seydoux is gorgeous too. I still think Ava Green kind of edges out above those. Bette Midler, give me a break, dude. Gross. We got a lot of Leah Seydoux from Spectre. I haven't gotten to your super chat, bro. Serena says, I missed the super chat. Let me see if it's over here. Timo, $5. In the X-Files revival, they introduced a massive curveball at the end of the show. The Smoky Man claimed that the alien invasion was a hoax, and the conspiracy was just corrupt men using the tech to seize one world power. That's right. I forgot that. Oh, I forgot about Sophie Marceau in the 90s, too. Ooh, that's a tough one, dude. Because Electra King... I mean, I think Electra King might beat Denise Richards. She might be prettier than Denise Richards. What do y'all think? Is Electra King prettier than Denise Richards? Yeah, I think that might beat Denise Richards. I remember when I saw that James Bond, I was like, damn, dude, that chick is flying. Well, I went to see that with my buddy, too. And I remember being high as hell, dude. I was so high when I was watching this James Bond. This is back in high school. And we went to see this one. I was so high that I closed my eyes and I was like floating above the seat. And I was trying to watch James Bond. I had no idea what was going on in the plot. I just remember thinking, damn, dude, that chick is flying. That's all I remember. My wife is a beautiful woman. She's an A-list beauty. So there's nothing wrong with talking about people who are objectively beautiful. It'd be like lying or like, can you say, are there beautiful women? Obviously there are. What are you talking about? Yeah, actually, Jamie does look a lot like Monica Bellucci too sometimes, and she looks like Gal Gadot too. And I know we got a lot of people going to say, how dare you like a girl or think a girl's pretty that's of the Middle Eastern? Well, dude, there's a lot of good-looking Jewish girls. I don't know what to tell you. See, Jamie looks like that sometimes. Yeah, no, I think Jamie is actually literally, she's like A-list woman level pretty. So I think she doesn't mind me saying that this person is pretty because I'm like, well, you're like at that level of A-list pretty level lady. So I mean, dude, I don't care what you think about Gal Gadot. She is pretty. I don't care what you say. Like, but she's also not a Bond girl. But there's times where there's some pictures of her that look just like Jamie. That looks a lot like Jamie right there. That looks a lot like Jamie. Anyway, But you guys did remind. There were some. I still think. I mean, I don't think Leah Sadu. What Bond girl is Jewish? Ava Green. Ava Green's Jewish. She's French. She's French and half Jewish. I think is right. Anyway, let's get back to this.
The UFO mythology develops of its own accord, and the Mirage Men will just drop a new piece of data, a new meme, some new faked documents into the mix as and when it's expedient for them to do so. And there's no real need for a sustained UFO deception campaign because the folklore is just perfectly capable of sustaining itself.
The U.S. government.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot your super chat. What was your name? Serena? Macro Future sent $7. Thank you. Macro sends another $2. Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is. Wait. Sarah Nuibe says for $20. They lied to the people then, but wouldn't it also be reasonable to assume that they are lying to reveal in the reveal of their lie? Yeah, I think any assumption that they're lying is accurate. Aliens aren't real, but the question of the truth telomeres, I can't talk, telomeres, the question or the truth teller's legitimacy lingers. Yeah, it makes everything no longer legitimate. You know, who's a pretty good judge of beauty is also other women. So I want to know from the women in the chat. Sarah Nuibe, who is the prettier of the Bond girls? You don't get the Eva Green hype. What are you talking about, dude? She's like next level. People still debating women in the chat. I want the women to tell me who the prettiest, because they're pretty good judges of that. They spend a lot of their time studying beauty and trying to be beautiful, so they know it pretty well. George says for $2, how funny is The Man Who Knew Too Little? You talking about the Bill Murray movie? I remember watching that and liking it as a kid, but I don't remember much about it. So I don't, a lot of times that 80s humor doesn't hold up, 90s humor. I mean, sometimes it does, but very rarely. Ban the Ava Green hater. Yeah. We're going to say that that's a legitimate version of anti-Semitism if you deny Ava Green. Ava Green denial will be not tolerated in this woke chat. See, everybody agrees how beautiful Jamie is. Exactly. Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley was definitely 90s babe for sure. Girls, yeah, that Will Smith song is funny. You don't know the Bond girls? Well, you know, I mean, there's not going to be one picture of them, but we have to ask like the 3 girls in the chat, the 3 women that watch this show. My audience, by the way, is literally like 10%, 9% women, I think. But let's finish this. We're never going to get anywhere.
Had one secret program in which 12 astronauts were sent to an alien homeworld, Serpo, 38.4 light years away, from the years 1965 through 1978. When the returning astronauts came back, I believe there were 7, that report was finalized into a report called Project Serpo in 1980.
Rumors about this kind of thing have been flying around since the 1960s or 70s, so it's got some kind of historical provenance.
In November of 2005, Project Serpo was sent to my UFO thread list. I received an email from someone. He requested to be anonymous. When I first read that bombshell email, it was far different than anything I'd ever received. And even though it was a version that was different than what I...
Yes, I forgot. Grace Jones. Ugh, yuck, dude. I don't know how anybody thought. And by the way, this is one of the goofiest of the Bond films. I mean, whoa, dude. How come nobody doing no transvestigation over here? Maybe they have, right? The one with Christopher Walken, dude, this Bond movie is so stupid, dude. It's actually so dumb. It's actually funny to watch. Not 008. With her and Christopher Walken and their weirdo relationship, and Christopher Walken plays this Silicon Valley. By the way, What's crazy about this movie is he's like a Zuckerberg before there was a Zuckerberg, right? He's a Silicon Valley overlord who's going to use earthquake technology to basically destroy Silicon Valley so that he has the monopoly on microchips, which sounds exactly like what Silicon Valley overlords would want to do. So the plot is actually, and he's also a rabid eugenicist. That's the other. So he's doing like eugenics experimentation with fetal cells and eggs and stuff, and he's experimenting on horses because he has like a giant racetrack. So this one is actually super predictive when it comes to Silicon Valley, technocratic transhumanist elite oligarchs. And that it's Christopher Walken is all the more ridiculous because he's just full on Christopher Walken. And I just don't get it, dude. Like, I don't think Grace Jones looks good at all, dude. I mean, maybe if she had not man hair, if she didn't have a damn flat top, she's got a kid and play haircut. If she had woman hair, you know what I mean? Like, Halle Berry when she was in the Bond films, she makes the cut, right? She's pretty. So she was hands down, obviously the prettiest black girl, James Bond, because it's her versus Grace Jones. So that's not much competition, right? But hey, listen, Trump said Brigitte Macron is prettier than Candace. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I think Trump maybe just went insane. Like, he just lost his mind because nobody could think Brigitte Macron is prettier than Candace. Justin says, Arnold and others have stories about Grace Jones from the Conan production. Well, you got to tell me what it is. By the way, Arnold's commentaries are absolutely hilarious. Like, there's these old clips where it's really funny if you can find them, where Arnold, it was like when DVDs were new, right? And Arnold didn't really understand what a DVD commentary was. And so they thought that was just like Arnold watching the movie. And he didn't really understand that why they were going to film him watching the movie. And he didn't get that you're supposed to like tell stories about, the production or whatever. And it's just Arnold like, ha, that's me. Look, what am I doing? The fuck am I doing? That's me right there. Wow, this is crazy. Like there's no commentary. It's just him saying like, there I am. Oh, look at me there. What am I doing? Let's see if we can find one. I want to say it's like Total Recall. This might be it. Let's see if this is it.
Well, this is me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this is me on the screen here, riding towards the camera.
It's like, he sounds like he might be drunk too. Let's see.
It was a great scene because she's trying so hard for me not to see the news. You can see here with the eye.
This is the plot of the movie here, and basically this guy is the bad guy. So she wants to keep me from seeing the bad guy because she's actually the bad guy too.
No matter what I do, the kissing, the hugging with her, I'm more interested in what's going on Mars.
And you see here, I'm acting. This is called the acting.
This is my job. I'm a construction worker, and I'm.
Yeah, we can see that. Thank you. Here, this is the gun. Here, the gun will shoot.
I'm totally amazed.
And he's looking at something.
I'm looking at the gun.
Yeah, so
I'm looking at the gun and I'm amazed.
Really,
exactly. How did I do that?
How did I do that?
Great fight scene with Sharon and me.
This is me fighting the Sharon Stone. This is me fighting her.
Oh, that hurt. I continuously used him as a human shield. Then I threw him.
I keep to use the guy as the human shield.
Down the escalator. And now he just got the message that he should actually put a wet towel around his head.
Which is also like crazy.
Exactly, yeah. So
this is crazy. This is me looking in the mirror.
That they still don't know. They cannot detect of where I am. I run around like an Indian. That's a funny scene.
I look like the Indian.
He's trying to steal.
He has to be just drunk doing this, right?
The suitcase. Now they have problems following.
That's me as the Indian steal the suitcase.
This scene is unbelievable because my frustration about
this scene is unbelievable because this sci-fi. This scene is fiction.
This taxi cab does not understand where I want to go.
Yeah, we've seen the movie a million times, Arnold. Thank you for the factual commentary. I'm sorry to say, maybe Arnold actually is a spurg. What if Arnold has the tism and he doesn't understand and he thinks that DVD commentary is explain the entire plot scene by scene to the audience?
Again, I got away. Now he realizes that there's a hologram of him. And now he's telling him that he has to take that bug out of his nose, which is this gross scene. Remember, everyone was gross.
Wait, I want to get to the 3 boobies part. Oh, this part's funny. Watch this. Watch this. Remember when he's that woman?
Yeah, they're on my track. This is a wonderful scene where I come up to Mars as an old lady.
Yes, thank you, Arnold. We know.
A fat old lady. And I'm actually hiding underneath this thing, which is the...
No! We thought that was you in makeup. You're actually hiding under there, Arnold? Nuh-uh.
Amazing thing, which we find out later on.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that now things are going wrong with the face.
Thank you.
This
is very helpful commentary, right? Like if Arnold wasn't helping us, the audience would be completely lost. We would be clueless as to what exactly was happening. Who is this woman? Is this woman Arnold Schwarzenegger? I don't know.
Controllable distortion.
Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Like we don't know.
Version of the face and everything.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Peter Parker. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And that's what busts me actually right now. Because the face does not stop.
Because I'm about to bust out the face.
Says the wrong things all the time. What a surprise.
That's me in there. That's me under the face.
You know, to come up there as an old lady, then all of a sudden the thing malfunctions and they catch me and then...
This is like the 4th time he's explained the scene. We understood the first time that you explained it, Arnold. You're underneath there. It's not the woman.
Of course, this is not just a face or a head. It's also, an explosive device.
Okay, so Arnold explained that like 5 times that was not his face. Can we? I don't want to get the booby part. Get me banned here. Let's see what does he say about the boobies?
The 3 breasts, huh? That's the one with the 3 breasts. Right. Oh. And all of a sudden I walk into her room and she smacks me across the face.
Oh, the 3 breasts. Oh. He goes, oh, the 3 breasts.
I was familiar with. It had the ring of truth.
Somebody within the government would have to be cooperating because I can tell you.
Oh, it's absolutely real. In fact, I think there's more. I think there's actually more. So now I don't know if the other ones are as funny, but probably because this guy just seems like a ridiculous person. Let's see if this one's any good.
Grain, you know.
Grinding grain, okay, and the grain was for food and all that stuff. Yeah, okay. And where would they?
It sounds like it's just they grinded the grain, and the grain was for the foods. You mean they weren't building huts out of the grain, Arnold? They were using the grain for food? Thank you, Arnold.
Getting the grain from. Whatever happened to Ben Davidson?
He's around somewhere.
Why didn't you do a close-up on her when she was talking there? Look at the chain.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The
chain mail.
Chain mail, yeah, exactly. What do you call those?
The demons.
The demons. And
what do you call this? Demons? Is he just an idiot? Like... Is he stoned? Is he high as hell? Like, what is going on?
But then how do you keep them in focus?
Well, by getting far enough back from him.
Oh, from me. Does the kid wear lipstick or what is that? Yeah, here's the making of the sword. This whole movie has to do with that. Now it's putting on the snow. That's me when I was young.
That's me when I was the young one. Yeah, so they're all the same. They're all that way. Yeah.
How can you make this thing go and do wheelies? That was the big challenge. And from that point on, this crane goes absolutely berserk. But the wheelies is what I like the most. The only thing that makes me really angry is not that I was smacked in the fire truck, but that my sunglasses were damaged.
So, yes, they're all the same. Just look up Arnold Schwarzenegger best DVD commentary. Let's see here.
That a lot of the information, not all the particular details, but a lot of the information is factual.
I believe that it is a disinformation campaign to lead people astray. That said, a good disinformation campaign, a good perception management campaign will always include nuggets of fact and truth. And some of those nuggets of fact and truth should be, if you're going to do it effectively, should be some of the more extreme facts or truths.
They brought back thousands of soil samples, samples from the Even civilization, and I believe all these artifacts are now ensconced at Bolling Air Force Base, and photographs too.
There's always a possibility that the Serpil story was created for disinformation to present to the Soviets back during the Cold War, and somebody stumbled onto it. That's always that possibility, but I don't think so. It's not a professional job.
Myself and 3 others were working as a research team, looking into the Serpil story. We really wanted to get to the bottom of Rick's involvement in it.
You know, people within the UFO community immediately said, hey, is Richard Doty involved in this? Did Richard Doty do this? I never had anything to do with the Serpil story.
We were adamant at this time that Rick Doty was the person sending the information, but we didn't have any proof. And the only way we could get that proof is if we could see an actual copy of the original emails that the anonymous source had been sending Victor.
Unless Rick Doty is one of the greatest novelists and writers of the...
When in fact, it was all one person. It was all Rick Doty.
I didn't create it. I didn't...
All right, now here he is. Here's the Project Camelot goofball.
Who really started this thing off. I'm the only name who's known. We've got this anonymous storyteller around this giant campfire who's entertaining us with this incredible tale. And we're sitting here with bright eyes, with the flickering flames, thinking, wow, tell us some more. The idea of disinformation is it's meant to be believed. With Serpil, the first response is...
Wow, profound, right? Anyway, I don't think there's much more in this documentary that's that revealing. You can watch the rest of it here. That's always a classic for UFO disinformation stuff, is the Mirage Men documentary. Mr. Awake, I don't see your channel. I typed in your name exactly as you listed it, Mr. Awake, and that doesn't come up when I search for channels, so I'm not sure how to unblock you. Let's see. Lockstep, can you believe how good I looked here? Lockstep, $5. Terminator, can you believe how good I looked here? Terminator 2 is my favorite action movie. That's a classic. Also, Arnold, Predator is also close. I tip my hat, my fedora to Jingle All the Way. Yeah, Jingle All the Way is so ridiculous. It's actually really funny. Big Boy Bry says for $5, Jay, there's a documentary called NWO, Secret Societies and Bible Prophecy. That sounds already like it's cringe, dude. It's very informative. I love your take on it. Maybe. We'll see. Justin Henley says, according to Arnold, Grace Jones sent like 12 people to the hospital during Conan. Wow. In fact, Dolph Lundgren was her bodyguard while he was training. Wait. While he was training for Rocky. Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty fascinating. Ralliture, $10. I don't know if my chat went through, but will I be able to call in today? No, I mentioned earlier that we're not taking call-ins today, but we do call-ins every few days. So just give me a couple days and we'll have another open calls. I'm Orthodox Christian. I have UFO experience. I don't know what to think about it. Yeah, well, I'd be happy to hear your story. Carstream, do you have a favorite animated movie? I like the old Disney Sleeping Beauty. I like the art. Sir S. Rolifson, $10. I have a Masonic Lodge manual from 2018. It describes oaths and symbols. I have a bunch of those. I'm not trying to be a douchebag, but I have a stack of old Masonic manuals, so appreciate that. He said, I'm going to burn things. Do you want it? I got a bunch of those. Jackson T. Adams says again, I'm military Orthodox Christian and I have experience with UFOs. Yeah, just wait for the next call-in. We do it. We do call-ins every few days. Now remember, see this guy here is the guy that does Project Camelot, which, by the way, is a title for an actual old disinformation program in the Army. Funny enough. And this is where, in Candace's Time Travel 2012 Sumerian Technology episode, she's getting it from Project Camelot. And Project Camelot is nothing but boomer, New Age, Atlantis, Pleiadian, alien consciousness bullshit. All of it is just pure gibberish bullshit. It's the stupidest boomer slop shit on the entire internet. And this was Candace's source in her whole episode on the 2012 technology. You can't make this up.
Like, you have that kind of time for Bob Lazar.
Yes. Yes.
But maybe not for Donald Trump.
No, that's different. Because Bob Lazar, what he's talking about, like, I wanted to know with the Bob Lazar thing, I wanted to know, first of all, I want to be around him and see if I could smell bullshit.
Did you? Okay.
No, I didn't, man. That was
Oh, come on, dude. That's obviously, it's the same copy paste pattern as Mirage Men.
What's weird about it. Not only did I not smell bullshit, I went over all of his interviews. He hasn't done a lot, but he's done enough. And he's done them over the course of 30 plus years. And it's alarming how consistent his story is, which is really weird when you think about, you're talking about back engineering aliens.
So first of all, just because a story is consistent doesn't mean it's true. The Lord of the Rings is a massive, gigantic, consistent story. That doesn't make it true.
In crafts and working on a top secret government test site that's carved into the side of a mountain and to camouflage it from satellites. It's such a wacky story. But
well, wouldn't that be one of the red flag indicators if it's a wacky, retarded story? I mean, we got In the Phil says the bad guys of World War II also had gay UFO files. Yes, we forget that the tiny mustache men people also were very interested in the Foo Fighters as well. Mimi for $5. Jay, there are many groups within the Roman Catholic Church, but on what basis can they say that they have the correct interpretation of all the papal decrees? Exactly. Precisely the point that we often make to critique the papal epistemology is that it begs the question. Absolutely. Guys, remember, head over to chalk.com, choq.com, the best supplementation on the internet. JP is going live soon. Who's JP? Oh, that goofball? No, I'm never going to talk to that dude. That dude will never have me on the stream. That guy's ridiculous. Guys, remember, head over to chalk.com, choq.com, and you can get a hold of the best in supplementation on the internet, choq.com. Use the promo code J60Life. That's JAY60LIFE, J60Life, to get 60% off all those great Chalk products, including the Male Vitality Stack or any of the individual products as well. You don't have to get the whole stack. You can, for example, get a hold of this Tonkat Ali. I'm a huge fan of that. And it is a recurring subscription, but you can unsubscribe at any time. If you just want to test out the products, you can use the promo code JAY60. I think that works, J60, and get 60% off as well. And if that doesn't work, try J50 just to buy one product. But J60 Life is the recurring subscription option. And you can also get copies of Esther Hollywood signed at the website, in the shop, in the show description. So if you look at my show description, there's a shop. You can get the signed copies there. And obviously, I'm not going to go. You're wasting your time. I'll never go to those people's channels. So you can just forever waste your time chatting about that. Otherwise, a lot of fun tonight. Thank you guys for round 2 of the UFO alien nonsense psyop boomer slop deception. Hit like and share, comment below things that I missed. I got to put some of those books